Kids, if you're looking for real old school laughs, you're in for a treat because we've got them right here. Flip City Magazine. Remember Mad Magazine? Then it went woke? Well, don't worry. Flip City has no chance of going woke. That's right. 4 times a year, you'll get an actual printed magazine full of jokes, stories, comics, and more, all about today's pop culture, entertainment, and woke politics. Flip City takes terrible entertainment trends we love to hate with hilarious parodies of Lord of the Rings, Stranger Things, The Walking Dead, Star Trek, Hunters, and more. Trust me when I say there is nothing else like Flip City on the market. So subscribe today. It will be delivered in print, or you can even get it digitally if you're one of those wacky Zoomers. Either way, follow our link and sign up today, and if you put in midnight, you get an extra 10% off. Check out Flip City Magazine today. Good morning, campers, and welcome to Midnight's Edge and Morning. I'm Tom Connors. We have the boss man here today. How you doing?
I'm doing good. Greetings. I see I'm here in stereo even.
Yeah, you are. We also have Paul Chato with us. How you doing, Paul?
I'm good. It's half my glasses are gone, but that's okay.
What'd you do?
Broke them.
You are rich as hell. How do you not have like 10 pairs of glasses just laying around?
That's how I stay rich, by
not buying glasses.
Not buying glasses.
Yeah, I was about to say, if you had the mentality, I'm going to have 10 sets of glasses, you're not going to get rich.
Glasses aren't expensive anymore.
Well, these are my computer glasses. I can put on my regular glasses so people.
Yeah, I believe I've seen those broke glasses before. Have I not?
Yeah.
Or were those different ones?
No, they're the same broke glasses.
All right. Okay, that's another way of getting rich.
When
glasses break, just keep them. Keep them for years on end.
I did 3D print an end to it, but I shoved it in way too far, and then when I put the epoxy glue in, it didn't quite hold. But what I'm going to do is saw this off and redo it, because I have a new 3D part here to do it again.
Those better be Gucci glasses. I'm just saying. So.
Yes. Yeah, Gucci. Yes. What is it? Dolce and Gabbana.
Yeah.
Because, I'm a Dolce and Gabbana kind of guy.
Right. Okay. Yeah, they better be Dolce and Gabbana glasses and not some $5, well, Canadian dollars even. So, yeah.
Yeah. Go into the Goodwill and just pick out reading glasses from the giant bin of old people who died, where they just, the kids take all the possessions of their dead parents and then stick them into a giant bin for Goodwill.
I don't think I have seen that.
That's not a bad idea.
Yeah, I don't think I've seen that in Europe.
No, we have them here. So the problem is the glasses smell of dead people, or not necessarily dead people. There's that old smell of skin and cologne and things like that infused.
So not exactly new car smell.
No, that's right. Yeah, the glasses. That's a new M. Lime Shyamalan line. My glasses smell of dead people.
Yeah, I actually may go see that movie today, depending on how it quit there.
Oh, his new M. Shyamalan Ding Dong movie.
Yeah, that one. There's exactly one screening here that I can see in English, and they do this. Like sometimes they have them in Friday, so the only way I have to see them is if the stream is of, shall we say, so I don't jinx this, manageable length.
Well, someone said that if you leave right at the 20-minute mark, it's a great film.
Wow. Okay, so it's a great short movie.
Just leave at the 20-minute mark. Don't watch the remainder of the film.
What's this?
This is the new M. Night Shyamalan movie.
Oh, that stupid thing. Yeah. I was gonna say, because I went to go see Borderlands last night and my car got broken into.
What?
Oh, shit.
Yeah, somebody left me 4 tickets of Borderlands. I was so pissed.
Nice. I'm
So that's
thinking,
like adding insult to injury. So like
No,
first you
it's
break
a
into
joke.
the
No,
car.
I didn't go no fucking place.
I was just thinking, like, what is it? Some cow tried to put their hoof through your car or something?
No, what? Where? When?
Like where you are? You're in Wyoming or something.
Wisconsin.
Wisconsin. Isn't that it's a W?
We do have buffalo, wild buffalo roaming around now. They weren't
Bison.
wild to
Not
begin
buffalo,
with.
it's bison.
Or bison, yes, sorry. Yes, you're right. Because somebody they got loose. So they got all over the fucking state now.
Wow.
Yeah, this happened like a decade ago. So now they've gone out and they've started breeding and they've got herds and shit. So like we got a bison population now in Wisconsin.
Wow.
You have to worry about hitting those and deer.
The
And yeah, once in a while a cow.
Bison are big.
They're huge.
Got to see a whole bunch of them when we were in Calgary, up in the northern part of Calgary, where they've opened up a huge sanctuary to bring the bison back to the province. And we got they took us in a 4-wheel, truck through all these fields of bison. They're big motherfuckers.
Yeah, I don't know why I said buffalo, other than I'm half awake, but yeah.
Yeah. How is their population doing? Like, yeah,
Good.
are their numbers sustainable now?
Yep.
Or
Yep. They've
Okay.
they've gotten them back. It's pretty good. I mean, the plan, I believe, of the Canadian government at the time was to kill them all off, so the Indigenous individuals would not have any food or way of life.
I was about to say they look succulent.
Well, I mean, one bison will feed a bunch of people for a good long time.
Yeah, I know. So
there's a place we went to is called I can't remember the full name, but it's called Buffalo Jump, which is pre-weaponry, like guns and things, where the Indigenous would funnel herds of bison and then run them over a cliff. And then they would be skinned when they went thunk and kind of died. When they ran them over and then they would skin them. And yeah, there were all sorts of rules too, in terms of, if you're not involved in the hunt, then you don't get a bison and you end up starving throughout the winter. You had to work your ass off. This was not this was a merit system that they had. There was no slackers. If you slacked, you didn't eat.
Yeah, I can see that. So basically, they did to the bison what Disney does to lemmings.
Basically, but I mean, again, at the time, the people there managed the number that would get killed. But I mean, also at the time, there was just like an insane amount of them. There was like an inexhaustible supply. Until they put the railway in and did bad things. And yeah, welcome to history, folks.
Yeah, it's Friday, so sometimes it's History Day. But we have a good crowd watching already.
Hello, good crowd.
More than 600, soon approaching
Wow.
700 watching. We have Monkey Jeebus is here. Morgan King is here. Muqtadir Ali is here. Carlos Alfredo Lopez is here. Dr. Long Dongler is here. Fresh Snow is here. Six is here. So yeah, glad to see crowds of both some new and familiar.
Actually, there was a buffalo currently on the loose where I'm at in May. It says here, because I was looking for the original story where the bison got loose. But yeah, so there was a buffalo on the loose in Wisconsin.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm not surprised. I'm really not surprised. So yeah, let's before we get into the show, because today is D23 day, and most of the Disney presentations will be later today. But we have some rumors of what might be presented, so we'll get a little bit into that. Borderlands is opening this weekend. Very strong female-centric presence in that, although it's not exclusively female-centric. But it has some fairly exclusive negative ratings. So we'll get into that as we go here. We also have a couple of super chats couple of them very interesting. So let's start with this from Packing Protons, who says for $10. So what does a hostile takeover look like? So this then, of course, is in reference to the recent speculation triggered by an interview with Gina Carano, in which she did not debunk any claims that given the right conditions, Elon Musk may launch a hostile takeover of Disney. With that context established, the super chat continues. Does Elon walk in with 2 sinks or just an offer they can't refuse? Being on the stock market seems like more trouble than it's worth. And yeah, the stock market certainly is volatile right now. But Paul, let's begin with you. Let's just assume, for the sake of argument, we do not know if it's accurate or if Elon Musk is planning any kind of takeover at Disney at all. But let's just assume, for the sake of moment, since Gina Carano wouldn't explicitly say no, he has no such plans, which is really all this is based on, how would that happen?
Wow. Well, he would have to buy out shares. They have to buy out the shares, or go in with a junta and just take over the building. That might be cheaper.
Yeah, probably to hire mercenaries.
Correct.
And basically have them go in and then go to Bob Iger's office and ask him who's captain now.
And there would not be a single Disney employee now with the ability to stop them. In fact, there isn't an employee that could defend against a bunch of Girl Scouts.
Probably.
Just neither would we in the U.S. either, though. So,
anyways, yeah, I would go for the junta. I would go for the junta method. It'd be way easier. Then he just installs himself and starts making decisions. Who's going to stop him?
I think hire some South African mercenaries. That's
yes,
the whole Chato way.
It's a good idea.
I think he.
Sorry, carry on, Tom.
No, I was just gonna say. I think he, Peltz, and Perlmutter form a holding company, and they wait, or as soon as the stock hits a low, then they come in, buy up a shit ton of stock, hence taking over the company with this new holding company, basically. At least that's my understanding of how it would probably work. But
and the only problem with that is that in order to do a hostile takeover, exactly how much shares is needed for a hostile takeover, that depends a little bit from territory to territory.
Because they've diluted their shares quite a bit by adding more to them over the years and stuff.
Yeah. Paul, do you happen to know the percentage of shares that's needed in order to force out anyone else?
No, that I can't tell you. I do not know. I'm sorry.
If anyone in the chat would
I'd be guessing since we don't have Mikey here either, but I'd assume it'd have to be at least
or 60,
probably 51% or more of the company is my guess.
Well, minimum that.
Because and I'm just going off of just Fugazi pulling it out of the air kind of thing.
I can say that in Norway, you need 90%. The moment you acquire 90%, that's when you can force out the remaining 10%. Of course, at that point, you already have the majority shares. You don't technically need to do that, but at that point, you can actually force the remaining 10% out of the company, and they have legally no sway against it. So that's how you can take the company actually off the market if you so choose. And that's kind of like what Elon Musk did with X. Now, the difference is that I don't think that X was as heavily owned by BlackRock's, Vanguard's, and State Street, because the ones he will really be going up against is those, because the shares which are available at any given market, some or at any given time, some of that is from the retail customers, some of it is from the institutional, but there is not enough Disney shares at any one time that he can get enough that is going to give him a controlling interest of the company. Like, for instance, look at what Perlmutter. He was awarded as many shares as he got due to him selling them Marvel, and that was a part cash, part shares acquisition, and so many shares that it made him the largest individual shareholder. Whereas when Nelson Peltz came in, then he just bought up shares that were there on the market, and he was able to buy more than $1 billion worth of shares that way. But that was not enough to even get him onto the board. So we are talking a hell of a lot more shares than that. We're talking such an amount of shares that it can't be bought in the open market. The only way that he can get the number of shares needed to actually launch a takeover bid is that he has to approach someone that already has a significant portfolio and convince them to sell or to back him in whatever plans they have. And at some point, he's going to have to then encounter BlackRock, Vanguard, and State Street, or so many others that they can counter them. And this is kind of like the thing. There are so many shareholders. Like, I don't think that BlackRock has more than like 10, 12% of the Disney shares. And everyone else has a smaller pot than that. And he's going to have to be able to contact so many different parties. But here's how it can be done. Many of those are, for instance, state government pension funds. If the Disney share price collapses down to like $60, $70, and he says, I'm going to give you $80 per share for your entire portfolio right now, then many of them will have a fiduciary responsibility to actually accept that, because there's no way that they can defend not doing it. Because if they don't, the downward slide is just going to continue. So there are ways that it can be done. It's going to take a lot of maneuvering, a lot of finesse, but it's going to be more difficult than acquiring Twitter. And that was no small thing to do in the first place. So if anyone can do it, it's Elon. But he'll be starting from scratch, because both Perlmutter and Peltz have sold off their stakes now. So they'll be basically going in from scratch. But given that the share price goes far enough down, it can be done by basically approaching big shareholders right now and overpaying for what the shares would be worth at that time. That's how it can be done. And then it's going to be a big struggle. But it's not outside the realm of possibility.
Do you think Disney would ever try to go private?
They couldn't, because in order to go private, well, you mean like if Elon Musk were to take over, or right now?
Right now.
No, I don't think there's any way that can happen. Because then, for that to happen, you'd have to have Bob Iger or some of his allies deciding to buy out all of the other remaining shares. For instance, say you're BlackRock, and BlackRock has what, I don't know exactly. Let's just say, for the simplicity of math, that they have a 15% stake in Disney right now. That means that they would have to buy out the remaining 85% shares of the company.
Right.
I don't think that even BlackRock can defend such an acquisition. And how are they going to profit from that? That's a pretty big cash outlay. Same thing with State Street. Let's say that they have 10% right now, and they decide, okay, we want to acquire this entire company and then go private. That means that they have to acquire the remaining 90% of the shares. This is the problem with taking things private. You have to buy out all of the other shareholders, and they have no legal commitment to sell. Well, I'm sure they will at some point. Again, as I said earlier, in Norway, if someone is able to get you to obtain 90% of the total shares, then they actually can force the remaining 10% out of the company. They will have to accept the share price. Ain't nothing that they can do to stop it. If we had Valiant or Mike here, I'm sure they would be able to give out more details. But I think the most likely course of action for Disney to go private is actually if Elon Musk does a takeover and then he takes it private.
Yeah, but what would be the benefit of him getting involved in Disney? I mean, seriously.
Oh, that I can answer. This the exact same benefit as him getting involved and getting Twitter in the first place. By robbing who he sees as the enemy of a means of propaganda. That would be the benefit. He has declared like basically war against the woke mind virus. If you look at entertainment in Hollywood, Disney right now are the lead propagandists of it on the face of this earth.
And in what way?
By the way of their content. Maybe they will be changing things now. I mean, we have good reason to believe that Marvel are changing things. Lucasfilm is not. Many woke activists in Disney still. That is something that Elon Musk, if he were to acquire the company, could essentially end almost overnight.
Okay, I was looking up this one of the last hostile takeovers was when AOL and AT&T sneakily formed a merger during the AOL hostile takeover. It looks like here.
Yeah.
What happened to, like, Warner's owns CNN, and there was a brief moment where Zaslav installed a, let's call it a conservative friendly individual to run the place. And then he got run out of town for reasons that I can't recall. And from my perspective, CNN has gotten worse in terms of their coverage of pretty much everything. They're not a neutral observer from my perspective in terms of the way they write their headlines and also the choice of stories. What happened there? Why? I don't understand why Zaslav.
Well, that would be pure speculation, but I should imagine that, again, that's a company where the rot lies so deep that it's not enough to doing the changes that they have done. They'd have to fire everyone. They basically, in order to change the company's culture, I mean, a company's culture, that's something that's deeply, deeply rooted once it's allowed to settle. It can be changed, but that is basically giving it the kitchen sink treatment that Packing Protons is alluding to here, which is what Elon Musk did after he acquired Twitter. Well, he walked into the office with the kitchen sink and he fired 80% of the company.
The reason I bring it up is, not that Disney isn't a valuable property and not that the media business is tanking all over the place. And to a certain degree, Twitter competes with CNN and Washington Post and all these other mainstream organs. It just seems to me that the news landscape needs to find some neutral observers. The Washington Post is no longer the paper that I once.
The news hasn't been neutral since the 70s, basically since the 24-hour news cycle.
Maybe the
CNN started that.
Yeah.
And that's why I actually like Anchorman too, because it kind of covers that era, even though it's not the true story, it's the loosely sort of kind of true story.
It's very frustrating seeing all these news sources not report neutrally.
Yeah, it's very frustrating.
That's the sad part. But I looked this up, and you need in the U.S. all you need is more than 50%.
Okay, so basically, all he would have to
51%, like I said,
is gain a 51% share. Okay, that makes it much easier then.
And then the reason the AOL Time Warner hostile takeover didn't work out too well is because of the fucking .com bubble burst. That's why. It was supposed to be a merger of equals, and then
and then AOL tanked.
Yeah.
I remember. I remember that distinctly, and then suddenly
that kind of sent them down the path.
It was no longer a merger of equals.
Pretty much, but like that's the last time I was trying to say. I think that was the last time I kind of remember anything like this. And yeah, that was just basically it. Was just AOL merged with Warner Brothers. They found out later that they weren't nearly worth as much as they claimed they were, and all this other
And
stuff.
and at the time, AOL was actually trying to buy Warner's. It wasn't the other way around.
Yeah, yep, because it was AOL Time Warner now after the merger.
Yeah. So yeah,
but that was an excellent question. Hacking
is
Protons
AOL still around?
Yeah, I think so, but they're like a pale.
Only as a
shadow
shell
of their
company,
former
if
selves.
anything,
Yeah.
more or less, yeah. Not as a serious contender in the market.
Wow, geez, okay. I just went to the AOL website and it's a picture of a chunky woman exercising. That was a good way to start my morning.
Yeah, okay, so they got their DEI programs in order, then, is what that tells us.
Yes, it's this. There's the here. I'm going to take a screenshot so everyone can enjoy their AOL. You guys keep chatting.
Yeah, so like since you had to
got
see
mail.
it, the rest of us have to suffer as well, right?
Yes, that is
Yeah.
correct. I'm making you do it. This is part of our fun here. So
Yeah, exactly. I mean, it's Friday, so we can have some fun.
yeah,
with it.
Friday. We're having fun here.
We had some really beautiful, attractive women on Wednesday, didn't we? With the Olympics and stuff. You know, the ones who aren't in boxing.
You know what? Watching the whatever. There's the thing with the long pole. I don't mean that as a porn reference. I meant
the pole vault.
Pole vault. Thank you. The women in pole vaulting are stunning, and same with the sand thing with the ball, beach volleyball. Yeah, man. I know there's this problem with why the Olympics. I think they force the women into those bikinis. I think it's the rule, but I certainly don't mind. These are beautiful human specimens.
Well, the ones that I have spoken with of the ladies who compete in that, I'm sure there's some difference of opinion, but they don't mind either. The ones that I have spoken to.
Well, that's what I'm thinking is like. So here's the homepage of AOL. You can bring this up.
Oops. Oop. One more time, Tom. You do it.
Yeah.
That could have been worse.
Yeah, I've seen worse.
Yeah.
And my wife is very zoftig. I
still wasn't prepared for this.
No, I wasn't prepared for that either. I mean, again, she's similar in body type to my wife. So, and I love her to death.
Yeah, exactly.
But again, you know,
I had something else pictured in my mind based on your description. So, so it was actually.
But she's happy. But again, this is the, you know.
Well, good for her. Good for her. Yeah, good for her. I don't mind that at all. That's good for her. I mean, that's, yeah.
But that headline, that is a globally current headline. BC mom goes viral for recreating Olympic gymnastics routine in her kitchen.
Yeah. Well, something good came out of the Olympics.
I agree.
Other than some pictures. So, yeah, awesome.
Good for her. Good for her. Good for her. Anyways, there you go.
But Tom, since we were on the merger talks, because I don't think there's much more we can say about the Disney merger other than it can be done. It is within the realm of reality. It's going to require a lot of political finagling for Elon Musk to do it. It's also going to require a lot of Bob Iger to screw up to make it affordable in the first place, because the share price is going to have to come down at least $20, $30 more. But if it does, it's within the realm of reality. Like, I'm not saying it's likely, but it is within the realm of existence. It could happen. But then we have something else in the corporate world that you were asked on After Dark yesterday, weren't you, Tom?
Yeah, well, they were just asking about all this situation going over at Warner Brothers, and we didn't have Mikey as a correspondent, but there's a lot of moves and shakes going on over at Warner Brothers right now, and Script Doctor and I had an interesting conversation a bit about it. Because, I mean, there's kind of well, of course, you know, we were just talking about the media earlier, especially CNN and stuff like that, but, you know, there's always been this kind of one-sided fight in Hollywood when it comes to, they'll make excuses till the cows come home for Disney, right? As far as any losses or issues they're having, but they've been coming after Zaslav hard since he took over. We've dubbed him like the Trump of Hollywood at this point. Now,
pretty much. They
to be
want to see
clear,
him fail.
we don't agree with everything he's done. I mean, I'm not going to speak for you, Andre, but I mean, he's had some moments where he's done some stupid shit. He's had to walk back some stuff with Turner Classic Movies, and the home video department's still a big fucking mess. The television is still needs some fixing, but now there's been this talk about splitting the company up. There's been talk about all this other stuff going on, and basically what Script and I came to the point of is what really hurt Zaslav, and it says right here that their shares plummets Thursday, taking 9.1 billion impairment charge on the decline of its linear business and uncertainty around the NBA rights. Yeah, because there's this deal going on with the NBA rights now. Script's understanding of it is they should be able to sue in the future and possibly get themselves out of this deal because it's a breach of contract. But that being said, as I've been hearing for the longest time, it feels more like, to me, David is setting the company up to acquire probably CBS or something like that after the whole Skydance Paramount thing is done with. So I'm curious what you guys think about it, because CBS would come with a fat NFL deal.
Well, I mean, my take on it is the language that the press use when they say things like plummet. It went down 0.28%.
Yeah.
Plummet. It plummeted.
No, Disney's stocks has been plummeting.
Correct.
And
then the other thing that I'm interested in is, I mean, at $7, how many shares are there of Warner's out there versus Disney at $90? Like, what's we're not talking apples to apples here. So again, the language is hilarious.
And he also
28% dip, plummet. It's a plummet.
He also took on the company when it had already had at least a quarter of a decade's worth of problems already.
Yeah, and he was brave enough to pull the bandage off the scab and write down billions of dollars worth of stuff. Right? I mean, he's getting rid of the pain quickly. Yeah, and he's going to get punished for it. I mean, for day traders out there. So yeah, it's not doing well, but I mean, they do have other businesses.
Yeah, and they did make a deal on one of the movies that was looking at getting shelved for tax reasons, and that was not the Coyote and Acme movie, but the other,
the Batman.
Tunes. No. Oh. The Looney Tunes one, the Porky and Daffy one, got picked up by Ketchup Entertainment. So that is going to get released, the fully animated one.
And we are thankful that Amazon picked up the DEI woke Batman.
You know who is thankful for that? David Zaslav, because it means that he was actually able to make a profit on that production that otherwise would just have been a drain on the company.
Yep.
Because here's like the thing: it was already in motion, it was already getting done. The costs devoted to making it had already been spent. So he had two options. Do I put this on Max and sour the Batman brand identity for absolutely no profit at all? Or do I sell it to someone else at the price point where I actually profit from this thing? It's still not going to be good for the brand, but hey, J.J. Abrams is going to get blamed for it. And Amazon.
Yeah. Well, actually, I was going to say, you want to be a little bit more clear on that whole Batman thing. Like, I think they rejected all of JJ's projects, and that's what he went to shop around. But the Batman was the only one that found a buyer.
Yeah.
Because he had like 2 or 3 projects that they let him take.
Yeah.
I'm sure that's part of his deal.
Yeah.
No, and the other thing is like, people are coming after him over like the shelving of these films and writing them off for taxes. Because like after that one announcement, it was either yesterday or the day before with the Looney Tunes thing, of course, all the people were freaking out again. And look, there's a lot of people under this conspiracy idea that Zaslav is trying to keep people from seeing this movie somehow, and he's more than willing to lose money on it, writing it down on taxes, than actually selling it to somebody. And I'm just sitting here going, do you realize how stupid you sound? No offense, but that is the dumbest shit I've ever heard in my life. There's only 2 reasons in the world why David Zaslav wouldn't release this movie. One, he's not going to make enough money on it to sell it, which is what happened. So it's probably going to get shelved and written off as a tax write-off. And 2, that the movie was so bad that they decided not to release it in the first place.
Right.
And I know for some reason people have it in their head, just because of shit they've heard, that it supposedly had some test screenings and it tested great. And you've got all these people that worked on it talking it up. Well, guess what? I remember a little project called Batman v Superman that had the same shit around it. In fact, that thing got standing ovations in the test screening. We see how well that worked out, right, guys? Look, and I don't know for sure if the breakdown I got for the Coyote Acme movie was real or not, but it does match up and line up with a lot of other stuff I've heard and other takes that I took it for real. And in that case, it basically told me everything I needed to know, and that you have a problem, and that is you have a movie with a concept that only lasts for about 5-10 minutes, and then the rest of the movie is a guy who has whose co-lead cannot talk. Okay? He doesn't talk. He talks through signs instead of actually bringing in somebody to do the voice like they should have, because it's like somebody at Warner Brothers forgot that Wile E. Coyote used to actually talk until he got into the Roadrunner cartoons. He was super genius, Wile E. Coyote.
Yeah,
remember?
Morning, Bill.
Yeah, well, that was the wolf. Those were actually 2 different characters. Yep. The wolf had a red nose, and that was the sheep.
That's right. Yep. I thought he looked like Wile E. Coyote.
But Wile E. Coyote first was introduced. He was Wile E. Coyote, super genius. And then he quit talking as soon as they got shoved him into the Roadrunner cartoons, because at that time, Chuck Jones knew that it would translate in any language as long as he didn't talk.
Meep, meep.
Exactly. That's the only words in any of them except for signs, which can easily be reanimated.
Exactly. Or
Chuck Jones was a genius.
Very, very true. And also, just to add to what you're saying there, and this goes to say how Zaslav isn't going to let to basically accept a bad deal, which is probably something that drives Hollywood nuts and reminds them even more of Orange Man Bad. No, that's exactly right with this whole Acme situation. The reason no one else has picked it up is because in order to sign off on selling it to someone else, Warner has to have their entire outlay covered, and they're going to have to have a nice profit on top, because otherwise they're not going to sell it off. Consider what Disney did with Sound of Freedom last year. They sold that movie to Angel Studios at a loss. Then Angel Studios turned it into a massive hit. And Disney looked like idiots because they basically handed them the movie for free. Handed them all of that sweet, sweet box office cash. Zaslav is not going to tolerate a situation like that, which means that whoever wants to buy that movie, they have to pay full price for it. And if they're not willing to do that, well, then he is better off taking a tax credit or tax write-off on it than to sell it at a discount and see someone else doing something and turn it into a hit at his expense. That's not happening.
And I would like to see it.
Yeah.
Sorry.
And the cost that is required for him to be able to sell it off is so high that none of the other studios, and they've all seen it, all the other studios that were interested in picking that movie up, they have seen it. And they've decided that, no, we're not going to profit on this. It's going to have a good opening weekend, and then it's going to fall off a cliff. Because just like the current M. Night Shyamalan movie, it's a 20-minute good movie or 20-minute skit, and then the rest is pure filler that only detracts from those first 20 minutes.
Or that's why no one in this case, but yeah.
Either way, that's why no one has bought it. It's not worth it for them. They can see, okay, fine, so we have to pay 80 million for that. This is not worth 80 million to us, or 100 million or whatever. It's not worth it to them.
They were only asking 70, which isn't even that much. Sorry.
Yeah, no, but the same thing. It's too much for them for them to spend, because they can see that with the quality of the movie, it's just not worth it for them. because when released into an audience, it's going to get exposed really quickly.
Here's an interesting side story where we talk about this stuff all the time, and we have also talked about the destruction of the profit centers, alternative profit centers like DVD, and before that VHS, right? I
Yeah,
mean,
the second market
the
revenue.
second market, they've completely screwed up their opportunities with their drive towards streaming, and then how they handled streaming in such a stupid manner, which they still are. But what's interesting is my son, who is not interested in this stuff at all, okay, and you could probably represent him as an educated online person, a normie. Where he got educated about this entire cycle that's changed? Hot Ones. He was watching a Hot Ones video with Matt Damon talking about how there's no more profit.
Yeah, that's a great clip.
Without an opening. So movies have to open well, and then that's it. And so I'm going, wow, my son learned about this entire industry watching Hot Ones.
Yeah, that's a great interview, actually. And he actually talks about how the DVD boom saved a lot of things and made a lot of those movies from his era.
Yep.
Yeah.
And a lot of movies that deserved saving too.
Yep.
I mean, that's people.
Well, I think he specifically brought up like how Rounders was profitable because of the video and stuff like that.
Oh, and Rocky Horror Picture Show died in the theaters.
Oh yeah.
So I mean, again,
but then it became one of the biggest selling videos of all time. Go figure. But that's because they waited 15 years to put it out on tape.
Highlander made more money.
Yes.
In VHS.
Well, that's why we got a sequel. Yep.
Yeah. Then so again, we have to be careful when we discuss outliers, whatever.
Outliers, yeah.
Yeah, outliers are not the rule. We love bringing them up, but there's a million films that deserve to die, both in the theater and on VHS.
Right. Well, and my whole point with the whole thing was, as Andre's correct, all the studios and streamers got a chance to look at the movie. There was some story going around that they weren't allowed to bid more than once or change their bid or something. I don't even buy this story. It sounds like nonsense to me. But basically, it sounds more like nobody was willing to give them the amount of money they wanted. Andre's right about that. I don't know how much this movie cost overall, but my guess is it had to cost somewhere in the $40-50 million range for them to want at least $70 million to profit on it at the end of the day. And they couldn't get that much, which means they get at least $40 million probably in tax write-off, which will barely cover the cost. But yeah, I'd love to see the movie. It's not like I want to see it get, shelved and never seen the light of day, but it's not our choice, right? And right. Zaslav is doing, and I trust him to a point where this was the guy smart enough to shelve Batgirl, right? Like I can't believe anybody else in Hollywood would have had the balls to do that. And a lot of the flack he gets is from that situation.
Oh yeah, absolutely. And here's
don't give me.
Sorry, carry on, Tom.
I was just saying, don't get me wrong. I'd like to believe that the movie was going to be good just because Michael Keaton's in it, but from everything I've seen and heard, I don't think that's the case.
Well, how good did he make The Flash?
Well, and that's just it. We knew that and you and I have reported this from the start, and I still stand by it, that all Batgirl was meant to do, along with the Flash, was set up the DCU going forward.
Yeah, and that's what Zaslav killed off, and he did it because he has to produce a dividend for the shareholders, and that's kind of like what he's getting flack for right now. That's what the industry is attacking him for. Where's the dividend? You need to create some more value for the shareholders here. It's funny. I do not see any such headlines when it comes to Disney. Where's the calls for Disney to make money for their shareholders? Now, this shows the unbelievable two-tier reporting.
That's what I was talking about.
Zaslav, yeah, there's pressure to deliver value for shareholders, but he does. It's going to take a while, considering how badly the company has been mismanaged before, to turn around that there can be the kind of dividend that the company would want. But just notice, when was the last time you saw a headline like this for Disney? When did Deadline Hollywood write about pressure on Bob Iger to deliver value for shareholders? No, that was framed like the evil Nelson Peltz is trying to force his way onto the board. That's how they covered that. So it's
Very
very
two-sided.
interesting double standard.
Yeah, or double standard. Yeah. And
Yeah.
and I agree with it. And look at what David's done. Look, like I said, I don't agree with everything he's done, but if you guys go back to my reporting, I don't know if Paul was here with us yet, but when I was telling people what his plan was, has he not done exactly what I said his plan was going to be? Start with DC, then Harry Potter, and then move down the line of the most important things in the business?
Agreed.
Yeah.
That's pretty much what he's done. And now he's evaluating all the television channels and what works and what doesn't. As far as Cartoon Network, I know it's a big deal that people are all upset that they pulled down the website, but you go to the website now and it sends you straight to HBO Max. But I guess the Spanish version is still up. And my understanding of that is probably because they probably just had clips and stuff all over the site, and he just wants you to subscribe to HBO Max now because majority of that stuff is on there. Right? That's the situation right now. So
yeah, we begrudge, not begrudge, but it's sad what's happened to all our favorite cartoons, but and it is what it is, right?
And there's like the thing, the moves that he has done, they take some time to have full effect.
Yes, yes, absolutely.
And I have very little, of course, you never know. It's always a crapshoot. But I do believe that the moves he has made inside of the next 2 years are going to be profitable. Especially the thing with James Gunn's Superman. If that clicks, that's a big if, of course, but if that clicks, that's going to be a huge thing. That's going to create interest in DC.
And Harry Potter.
Harry Potter, of course. The merchandising of both of them. I mean, stuff like that single-handedly can turn the company around if you can make them click. And again, this is something that Zaslow even said, that this was super-duper important for him, because DC, their releases alone should be able to carry the rest of the company.
Well, and I'm glad he realizes that, but he also needs to turn around and realize that Warner Brothers was built on the directors, which he has. He's been really trying to get all those directors back they lost and people and new people in, right? And not only that, he also needs to learn that there were smaller movies that helped make Warner Brothers what it was too. It wasn't just these big blockbusters all the time. Yeah, they had their Batmans and they had their Matrixes and their Harry Potters. But Warner Brothers was also the company that made Police Academy, right? Like, so you got to remember, these guys also knew how to make small comedies that made a lot of money, and those also helped bankroll the bigger films, or at least cover their losses on some of the bigger stuff that they didn't always make their bank back on. Because, I mean, Warner Brothers, for a while there, they were kind of the king of from the 80s into the 90s, it was like a battle between Paramount and Warner Brothers. Disney wasn't even a contender until the 90s again. Like, they were pretty much out for the count. And that's another thing that they're afraid of. And this is something Script brought up last night, is Hollywood is deathly afraid of Warner Brothers taking the top of the mountain again. Because if they do that, then that's where everybody will start doing what Warner Brothers is doing instead of doing what Disney is doing.
Interesting. So Script said that, eh?
Yeah, and I agree with him, because that's kind of how things were. Like in the 80s, it was a tit for tat with Paramount and Warner Brothers as far as who was the big man on the block.
Right.
Disney couldn't even fucking get a hit. It wasn't until Who Framed Roger Rabbit and Little Mermaid and Three Men and a Baby where they finally really started getting themselves out of a hole. Yeah, they had Splash and a few other hits with Touchstone before that, but the 80s were a desert for Disney. Like, they didn't have shit outside of Touchstone. And technically Who Framed Roger Rabbit is a Touchstone movie, but it had the animation side, so it actually put the animation team to work at Disney. So you had basically both sides of the company working on one feature at one time. And it was a make or break feature for the company. It was like, if this don't work, Disney is done. Like, and there was a point where if Culture was here, he'd tell you, I can't remember the guy's name, but at that point he was going to piece off the company and sell it off. Like, if that had all happened, Disney, like, all the characters would have probably been owned by Sony or somebody else. And then the movie catalog would have been owned by Paramount or something like that. It would have been a mess. And all Disney would have been like RKO and Republic Pictures and all these old movie studios of the past that are nothing but a movie studio of the past, basically. Yeah. Then Eisner came in and basically cleaned things up. Yeah. And that's kind of what Zaslav has to do now, is what early Eisner did to Disney. Find some things that work, get the things that made their company what it was working, And then when that's happening, then you start to expand and build out, and that's when they acquired like Miramax and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah, and if he succeeds in that, which I hope he will, you know what he has to do afterwards when that is done?
What's that?
Have lunch?
Well, he can have a big lunch and a huge exit party on his way out the door, because then it's time to leave.
Yeah, I don't
then
think he's
he
going to
will
stick
have-
around that long.
No, because then he will have fixed the company. And then it's time to learn from basically what Eisner did right, which was fix the company, and then realize that his strategies were right for that. Now it's time for someone else with a different vision that is more aligned to, here's a company that is newly fixed. Now, how do we take it to the next level?
Yeah, because what Eisner did.
Yeah, like Eisner, he's a fix-em-upper, or
Well, and
he
scared off all the people that helped him make Disney successful again. That was the problem.
Yeah, he stayed too long, and that's what
Yep.
Zastor can't do. He can't overstay his welcome. This is like the thing with CEOs. There's a reason why they have limited lifespans as CEO. And Bob Iger has stayed way too long, and it's to the detriment of his company. There was a time when he was the right person. I'm not disputing that.
Yep.
But then he overstayed.
Yeah, Eisner
after
should have
his
turned it over to
policies expired.
Katzenberg or something like that, and that's where he screwed up. Because then Katzenberg went over to make DreamWorks with Spielberg and all those guys, and then was a direct competitor with Disney, and that's Shrek and all that stuff came out of that. But anyway, that's
our understanding is that Katzenberg was pretty pissed.
Oh yes, he was, because he thought he was being groomed to be the next in line, and when he found out Eisner was sticking around, he's like, well, this, because he basically helped. Because here's the story how it goes. Eisner and Katzenberg and all their little group of team, they made Paramount the big competitor to Warner Brothers in the 80s. They were the ones responsible for making Eddie Murphy a star and all that kind of stuff. And then they moved over to Disney, revamped Disney, and Katzenberg thought, being the young buck, he was going to be the next in line. When he found out Eisner wasn't going anywhere, he's like, well, screw this. And he went and started his own company with David Geffen and Steven Spielberg, which became DreamWorks,
right?
Which exactly we know how that went from there. So yeah. And that is your History Minute with Tom.
There you go.
Exactly.
But yes, we got a few more super chats and a main topic yet to get through. So let's get.
Yeah, I got the couple of them.
If you haven't hit that like button yet, please do. Dr. Longdowner sending in £1.99 to remind you to pound that like button. Mephisto's movie reviews in the house. Reminder, I will be on his show tomorrow. I don't know if Andre's going to be able to join us or not, but we're talking Super Mario Brothers.
Good. I may have other commitments then. I've been trying, but it's not looking good.
All right. Well, I'll at least be there to talk Super Mario Brothers at, I believe it's 2 p.m. Central Time. Mephisto says, Borderlands was a pile of dung. Save your money, kids. Well, it sounds like he went and saw it. Yeah, and I'm not surprised from what I've been hearing.
Me neither. How many good of the professional critics? How many gave it a positive review, and what was her name?
Well, I think it was actually like 2 now, but yeah, the main one that really liked.
So, what kind of dumb shit did Grace say this week?
Oh, don't be mean. Don't be mean.
Yeah, no. I like Grace. I make that clear. And to be fair, she actually didn't give it a positive review. What Grace said was that not Jamie Lee Curtis, the other one. I had brain fuck. What's her name again?
I don't remember.
Oh, the Australian.
The one in Lord of the Rings, and
Kate Blanchett.
Thank you, Kate Blanchett. Kate Blanchett was amazing in it, and it was so good to see her get a role like this. This was the gist of Grace's positive review.
I got the early preview numbers. Do you guys want to hear how bad it is?
Oh,
yeah, let's do it, baby.
$1 million.
What?
And this is a movie. And this is a movie that had significant amount of reshoots, and after reshoots may have cost upwards of 200 million.
Oh no, they're saying 120 now.
Oh yeah, that's the original budget. Does that account for well, maybe not 200 million, but
no. The old budget I think was 100. I think you were right on that, and then I think after reshoots they have 110 to 120 now is what it says.
Okay.
Yeah, wow.
But preview night, $1 million. You're not going to see a profit on that, even.
Oh
at,
my God.
$1 million.
That's you get that just from the change in the seats left in the seats at the theater.
Yeah, no shit. Like, well, that was the joke. I didn't think it was gonna be that bad when I was making the joke this morning. Holy shit.
Holy shit, that's bad. That's a Sony picture, isn't it?
No, actually, it's Lionsgate. So you know what? And this is this is funny. I was gonna say this. I was kind of waiting to see how bad this was this morning, Andre, because I was gonna say I think things are starting to heal a little bit. Lionsgate is slowly becoming Bombsgate again. And the rest of the things are starting to reset.
Wow.
Eli Roth, the director, he better check for vacant position at Walmart, I think.
Or hope that Quentin Tarantino gives him an acting spot in his next movie.
Yeah, something like that, because he's going to be placed firmly into director's jail after this.
Well, you would think. I mean, maybe not, but I mean, the thing that Eli's got going for him is he can make dirt cheap movies. Like he did that Thanksgiving movie last year that did really well, and some other stuff. Like, so he might be able to kind of finagle his way out of this one.
Well, the good thing for him,
this one might have been a for hire job, and this might be one of the things that we were talking about the other day when Vince Vaughn was talking about as long as he followed the rules, he can't be blamed. Think about that for a minute.
Yeah, but you know what? Unfortunately for him, the rules have changed
a little bit, but then again,
this movie being made and this coming out, so
I wonder who will actually take the brunt of this. Because did you see this story too?
No,
Jamie Lee Curtis went completely woke on the set. She wanted to get rid of hierarchy and wants everybody to be equitable. So she had them wearing name tags and all kinds of other shit on the set.
Similar to the name tags they will be wearing at Walmart.
Yeah, something like
for
that.
For their next job.
And anyway, it goes. It says here, Curtis said to Hart, no less, "There's something really uneven about our position on a set of the movie in this arena. You guys know our names, we don't know yours. There's something inequitable to me about that on a movie set. If we are all working together, we should all be wearing name tags so that tomorrow when we come in, I would be able to say, 'Good morning, Sabine,' without even thought, because I've learned her." No, you haven't learned her name.
Hey, you know what? Can I say something on this?
Please, because I have a feeling I know where you're going to go with it.
Okay. I made a specific effort as executive in charge of production on multiple productions to learn the name of every single crew member. I didn't need name tags.
Exactly.
I learned their names to the point where a lot of the crew didn't know who I was and would run away because they were embarrassed that I'd go, "Hey, Bill, Francine, Chato." And they go, "Fuck, I don't know his name."
That's funny. No, and that's exactly what I was going to say.
If you just really learn their names, if you cared, you don't need name tags.
Exactly. Thank you, Paul. That's the exact point I was going to make. And don't get me wrong, I grew up loving Jamie Lee Curtis, but in the last couple of years here, I'm just going, what the hell is wrong with this woman? And what the hell is Christopher Guest thinking?
My crews were up to over 50 people, and I learned everybody's names.
And I'm impressed by that. And yeah, that's my sentiment too, is if you're going to be working on a set, what the fuck? Name tags? That's almost more of an insult than not knowing their fucking name.
It's absolutely, because then you've got the whole thing where, okay, do I look at their name tag? Oh God, they're looking at me. I better not look at the name tag. Oh, there you go. Nice. Salvador. Nice to see you, Salvador.
Sorry, but name.
Yeah, sorry, carry on, Thomas.
I just say name tags are for Walmart conventions and for people who have Alzheimer's. I'm sorry, that's it.
Yeah.
And preschool or the first day of kindergarten, shit like that.
And Jamie Lee Curtis, evidently.
Wow. I should be able to call them by their names to make me feel good.
That's what you're saying, yeah. I want to be able to feel good and feign that I care about the pleb. I want to feign that I care about the little people so that I can say, "Hi, person on name tag. I'm not going to bother to learn your name, but now you can remember how gracious I was to honor you with saying hi and reading out the name on your name tag. Do not ask me to remember it. and do not try to take it off and then expect me to remember. That's
No,
kind
you
of
know what you
she's
do?
saying.
Don't bother with the name tag. Do what Keanu Reeves did and hand out watches to all the special effects people,
or motorcycle to the
or whatever,
motorcycles to
yeah.
the stunt team. Yeah, he does it on every movie. He
does.
generally spends like almost all of his check right back onto the crew and stuff, and gifts and stuff between
Not
stunt
that's
teams and all that
necessary.
stuff.
And to be quite frank, the crew just expects you to behave in a professional way. They've got their job to do. They're busy. They don't need to be friends with you. They're kind of happy when you say hi in the lunchroom. I mean, it's not required. It just isn't. I mean, obviously, by saying that, she clearly does not spend any time with the crew, or she would understand what the crew is thinking. It's actually even a worse take.
Yeah. That's virtue
is.
signaling gone wrong.
It is. And then somebody pointed out in the background here how much you want to bet they have their pronouns written on them too.
Oh,
yeah. This is like the first thing. She's going to be like, okay, I want you to write your name, but before your name, I also want you, or I want you to write your pronouns. Very important to be inclusive. And also remember, she is one of the Hollywood parents whose kids has been transed and goes by they, them.
Yeah, and again, I still don't understand why in the world Christopher Guest is with her. Yeah. But anyway, we got a new member here. I want to welcome Staccato DDS.
Hey, welcome.
Thank you so very much for being here. I thought he gifted 50 memberships as well, but it's not popping up here in my background.
I'm just glad it's not Staccato DSD, because that's popular right now.
Let me see if it shows up in my other thing.
We'll have to check Staccato's nether regions to find out just exactly.
Unless I was told something wrong, that might have been it. But either way, thank you for being here. We appreciate that. And speaking of members, we got Dark King, who's been a member for 40 months.
Wow.
It says 40 months. Build an arc. That's right. In other news, Coca-Cola cans in Australia currently have Avengers 4 images printed on them. Another missed product tie-in, as at this rate, Marvel will actively repel sponsors. No, actually, you know what this is from? This was supposed to be a tie-in to Deadpool and Wolverine. Because I remember seeing these cans. I remember reporting on these cans a while back. They may have also been meant to tie in with Captain America 4 as well.
Yeah, that's more likely that it's Captain America 4 tie-in.
But it has all the Marvel characters on it, so it's not just limited to ones that were in the movies.
And in Canada, when you say someone has nice cans, that means something specific. They're very different.
Unless they actually say Avengers Kang Dynasty on them, then let me know, because then if that's the case, then I can't believe it. But damn.
If that is the case, then please send us a picture of it.
Yeah, I want to see that.
Beyond that, it's like the same thing like here in the outer rim where I'm at, and I call it that because good luck sending me anything by mail. In the stores here, you have like water bottles and stuff with like the Avengers characters and Star Wars characters, but these are just like promotions and sponsorships that the Disney company sometimes does without them being tied into any one particular movie that is there. It's just like this particular company has a deal with Disney and wanting to use that for recognizability, but it's in between bigger campaigns. So I don't think that what you're seeing is a tie-in to the Kang Dynasty. So if it was, I would love to see those battles.
You know what? I would love to see sarcasm marketing. If they had said, collect the entire incredible group of the Eternal cast member, and put them into a diorama that's really stupid.
We actually did something. There was a company in Norway that did something like that.
Sarcastic promo?
Yeah, kind of. It was a Norwegian soft drink, Solo. It's just like Fanta, only it's Norwegian. And the promotion campaign for it was typically like a bunch of losers that can't do anything right, and they're thirsty, and then they have a sip of the Solo, and now there's still a bunch of losers that can't do anything right, but at least they're no longer thirsty.
And they've got diabetes.
That's bad.
Well, they didn't go into that level of detail, but you keep it up, then that's next. Yes.
Yeah, the Kang series, like go into everything that they had planned, which we're never going to see. The sarcasm marketing.
Well, were you here the day I said, it'd be hilarious is for the next few years they just announce a bunch of Avenger movies we never get?
Yeah, they should just.
They've already started, so
might as well continue.
Yeah, and then make
it's about like Star Wars,
make McDonald's toys for everything that's never going to come out.
Well, like 30 years from now, people are going to be like, "What the fuck happened?
Yeah,
are we in like some weird alternate universe where these movies like disappeared from?" Like,
that's right.
So you want to get the Mandela effect happening. Here we go. Lester San Jose Skeptic Tank is here, and he's been a member for 13 months. Thank you for that.
I like
and
that.
Raven,
Skeptic Tank. That's good.
And the Raven and the Writing Desk has been a member for 7 months. Thank you for that, guys. We appreciate all the support, and I think we're going to be doing a member stream soon, Andre.
Yes, we should have one probably this weekend. So
I would hope so. And I'm also planning on some other cool stuff for members where I found out where we can actually do like screenings and stuff and bypass YouTube and all that stuff through Webinar or something like that it's called.
Oh, very cool. And we can have some watch
I might
parties.
do some commentaries. Yeah.
I touch my member regularly.
You're not supposed to say that on the air.
Oh, that's not what this is all about. No, never mind.
This is not confession. STR Red Wolf
I'm
sends
not even Catholic.
And says Borderlands. That's how guilty you are.
I feel
Borderlands. You do it so much.
There is a joke. Sorry, there is that joke where a Jew goes into the confessional studio, a confessional thing, and then talks about all the sex that he's had. And then the guy goes, "Why are you here? You're a Jew. Why you're here to confess?" He says, "No, I'm here to brag."
STR Red Wolf sends in 5 and says Borderlands a movie. Didn't they learn the lesson of porting anything non-live action to live action film? Didn't they learn the Scooby-Doo rule?
What's the Scooby-Doo rule?
Well, whatever it was overwritten by the Super Mario Brothers rule, because that made $1 billion last year.
Yeah, and look at One Piece. They can be done.
Sonic the Hedgehog.
Yep.
Yeah.
Can be done.
Yeah.
But you know what the difference is? And this is what I have always maintained, what I probably should do a video about. It's very easy to adapt something like Super Mario. I mean, just look at the movie that Tom and Mephisto will be discussing on Saturday. And me too, if I'm able to. But I really have to make some shifts in the calendars that I may not be able to make. But if I am, just look at the Cyberpunk movie and compare that to the animated movie from last year. And they're both based on the exact same source material, unless they put beep, 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 8-bit video game, right? It's easy to adapt a video game like that. Same with Sonic. It's like a 2D platformer where basically gameplay is get from one screen to the end and you have some game mechanics and the story is incidental. You have a lot of freedom in adapting something like that, as opposed to something like a game like the Borderlands. Like, I don't know how many Borderland games there are. I've never played them. But what I do know is that they are completely filled with story, as all games are. And even if you play them at the fastest, you're probably looking at like a 24-hour cycle going through them with all the cutscenes and everything. And a movie is supposed to cover that ground in 2 hours. You have to cut down so much. There's almost no way you're going to be able to please the audience in a movie. Now, I've been very vocal about how much I love that Fallout. I know that many fans of the video game hate it, and that is fine. I understand your complaints. But not being familiar with the video game, I have to assess it based on the series itself. But in being a series, they were able to cover a lot of ground and do something really amazing there. Now, a 2-hour Fallout movie, even having seen the series, would I have appreciated a movie that's 2 hour long covering that ground? I don't think so. And that's what they're doing here with Borderlands. It's a 2-hour movie starring grannies. Oh, and a short black guy. And the Jack Black robot. And these are like the major selling points. I mean, if this same concept was a series, maybe it would have worked. But you have contracted the game so incredibly much. And again, I do not know the exact characters you had available to play with in Borderlands the game. But I wasn't sure, but I kind of like doubt it was two grannies that were the point of view characters.
Yeah, they kind of turned it into Reds.
But
Which is a
Red
funny
was a
movie.
great movie, but
Very
that's the
funny movie.
difference. I loved it.
I mean, it's a looter shooter, so there's not a lot of depth to it. It does have lore, and
That's
there's
what I
no
mean.
reason that it couldn't have been another Guardians of the Galaxy. There's no reason in the hands of someone who was competent could have turned it into a Guardians of the Galaxy. And so it's just another, a variation on a theme. I would watch that if it was done properly.
Well, I agree, but Guardians of the Galaxy didn't star a bunch of grannies. Grannies that demand the crew have name tags so that they can show how kind they are to the pleb by faking, hey, you there, let me see your name tag. Well, that's a nice young lady right there. Carry on. Now I've done my civic duty, and you can share on social media how gracious I was to you, you pleb. That's kind of that tells me. And yeah, I don't see. I was hopeful when I first saw the trailer, but like now knowing more about it, I don't think there was any possibility that this was ever going to work.
Jamie Lee Curtis used to be pretty cool, especially in the Fish Called Wanda days.
Oh, she was amazing.
And now she's just tiresome.
Yeah. And again, she's another example of where the real life persona is so annoying and so divisive that it actually affects the on-screen persona, which is something that actors need to be very consciously aware of. And it's not going to help.
Well, I've always been annoying and never changed, so I don't have that issue.
Yeah, and here you are on YouTube.
And on this chat and on this show.
Yeah, exactly. But of course, we love you.
Thank you. I just gotta say though, about
even
the Mario
though Hollywood
thing,
didn't.
That's right.
Yeah, you're right about how the new Mario movie kind of rewrote the rules, but you gotta say, like, the thing is, the difference that they had with this new Mario movie compared to the one from '93 is they only had 4 Mario games to work with in '93. They have an entire universe and galaxy and everything kind of planned out in a Bible now for the new one.
Yeah,
so it's the work. The hard work was already done for them. But the oddball part of it was, and I don't know if you noticed this when you watched it, I think I brought it up when we talked about it back then, was how much was actually the same in comparison. If you look at it, how many of the similar story beats both movies hit, but how much flack the original one gets. But like almost the first 20 minutes of the movie is almost exactly the same. Yeah. And the last 20 minutes is almost exactly the same. It really is the same movie almost in a lot of ways. It's just the tone and the fact that they have a Bible set now and you get Donkey Kong and all that kind of stuff in the movie. That's all.
Imagine how wild if they brought a gorilla on set for the 1991 movie. Man, that was an opportunity lost right there. But yeah. But anyway, moving on. I believe we actually covered what we had to say about Borderlands there in one go, in one fell swoop. So yeah, that's one covered.
Yeah.
Let's see if anyone
and as far as the other
can...
Scooby-Doo rule, I don't know what exactly STR Red Wolf you're referring to, but my problem with the first Scooby-Doo movie was they should have, if you're going to do a live action movie like that, you can't have your CGI creature looking too real or too cartoony. And they went too much in the middle, and it just kind of didn't work for me.
I enjoyed. I
like the movie.
The ones with Geller and.
Yeah, the first one I thought was okay.
Yeah, I liked them both. I enjoyed them both. And then you had Scrappy Doo in the second one, or was that the first one? Where Scrappy?
No, that's the first one. That's what I loved about the first one. Is at the end you find out he's the villain. He was inside Mr. Bean the whole time. Yeah,
right. Oh no, I enjoyed the first one a lot.
The second one was kind of horrendous, though. That was my opinion.
I'm trying to. I can't remember it.
Yeah, that one was like really.
I was shocked
it starts
at
out
how
and the gang's
enjoyable.
all split up.
I mean, you had a really good. Not Scooby. What's his name? Scooby's friend. Hey, Shaggy.
Scooby. Yeah,
Shaggy.
Matthew Lillard.
Yeah. I thought that was it was really good. And the thing is, you could tell that they really enjoyed playing their characters. It was fun.
Yeah, well, Matthew, I got to talk to him a little bit with Paulie, and yeah, it was kind of cool that he got to take on the role beyond the movies, right? He was the voice. He took over for Casey for a couple of years until more recently.
Casey Kasem, that's right. The top
Now
10.
on with the countdown.
Top with the
You ever hear him freaking out about? God damn it! How many times I got to tell them to quit coming out of an upbeat song into a dog's death? I got a dedication here, and they're coming in from a. This is bullshit. How many fucking times I gotta fucking tell them I don't want to come into a fucking dedication to a dead fucking dog after a hot fucking song? It's bullshit. Going on.
No one in our audience knows who Casey Kasem.
They do too. He was the original Shaggy, and he was Robin for a while too on the Adventures of Batman.
Oh, was he? Okay. No,
and
I
in
knew,
the Super Friends and stuff. Yeah,
I knew he was Shaggy, but then again, they just knew him as a voice. They don't know him as that DJ guy with the wife with the hair. He had that bimbo wife.
He must have heard me say his name.
Hey,
what's happening, everybody? Happy
Hola.
Friday.
Hey, Paulie.
Hola.
hey, Polly.
Hey. You know what's funny about that Matthew Lillard interview? And what's up, chat? What's going on? Tommy, is that I kind of tooled it and re-released it like less than a month ago, and it got a bunch of views and good traction. That was a great interview. What a great talent, man.
Yeah. Did you get to go see Borderlands?
I was advised not to.
Okay, well, Patrick Robinson did go to see it yesterday. Thank you for the $4.99. Says I was nowhere. It was nowhere near as bad as they said it was. This is coming from non-fan of the games too, though. Enjoyed it. So see, that's the thing. If you're a non-fan of the game, it sounds like you might enjoy it.
Yeah, I look forward to seeing it myself because Lord knows sometimes I have unconventional takes. So yeah, I look forward to seeing it and being very honest about it. And as Paulie knows, sometimes you'll be surprised at my positive responses to movies.
Yeah,
that are expected to be disliked. I mean, I know you were shocked at my positive response when I just had walked out of Black Adam, for instance. That was fun.
Satan's Retribution sends in 14 South African Rand, says, why are accountants not ending Starfleet Academy? Well, I'm not keeping up with a lot of this stuff because it's kind of just off of our radar. But if you mean why they're not canceling it, it's probably because there's some contractual obligation.
And also, they probably don't have the power to do so. I mean, the Paramount is a really mismanaged place right now where you're lacking oversight. And the key person that could have gone in and said, stop this, isn't there. That's also the thing. It's just poorly managed across the board.
And then we got Alan Octavian Moldavan, who sends in member chat for 36 months. Holy crap. Thank you so much for being a supporter. Says, hey, chat and panel. What is that word? Sato?
Chato.
Chato.
That's my Hungarian name.
Oh,
yeah,
that's how you spell it in Hungarian.
Yeah.
Chato.
Oh, yeah.
Chato?
That was belt buckle, wasn't it?
Chato, yeah, belt buckle. Yeah. Chato.
Yeah, that's what I thought. Yeah.
Larry Zonka's last name was spelled CS, and it's Chonka,
right.
which
Chonka.
in Hungarian means side of bacon.
I knew this Afro-Latina Hungarian actress.
What a combo.
Maria Choka.
Okay.
But then she changed it to Acosta. I'm like, dude, why are you changing your Hungarian name, man? And she speaks fluent Hungarian. Didn't speak a lick of Spanish, but she basically looks like Rosie Perez, like gorgeous girl. But she had that Choka. And then there's a couple times she just would just like talking to her mom or somebody. La, 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 la. It's like, damn.
Anyway, it goes on to say, is it a good thing that the Olympics brought to a larger population the gender ideology craziness? Will it help end it? Well, this is actually something I think we might talk about if we swing over.
That's an interesting thing.
If we even have a chance.
But this way, that boxer was not known to anybody until the Olympics.
Well,
not everyone.
Yeah.
Not to the general public to the same degree.
Yes, true.
And
So,
normies watch the Olympics, right? Everyone watches the Olympics, and been talking to a couple of people. Like the first thing they're talking about is that opening ceremony, swimmers
getting
barfing
sick in
when
the
they get
sand.
when they get out of the sand, they're barfing.
Yep.
And then of course all the beautiful women athletes as opposed to the not so beautiful ones. So yeah, they're watching, man. People are watching.
Hey, even the Canadian hammer thrower, she was cute as anything. So,
I don't know the whole story. Was it a Venezuelan or a Brazilian woman? Like just insanely beautiful.
oh, there's the Paraguayan who got kicked out of the.
That's the one.
Yeah.
That's the one.
She is just gorgeous.
What did she do?
She basically didn't want to hang around in the village with everybody. She went out partying in Paris, and the team got mad.
Okay, all right, and the Olympics and the team in the Olympic Committee kicked her out.
Well, yeah, I guess.
So you know, an athletic woman who's earned her right to be there goes to one of the greatest cities in the world, wants to go take up the culture, wants to go do that. That's unacceptable. But that opening ceremony is acceptable.
Absolutely.
And their half-ass apology is acceptable.
Yeah, their apology that you were offended.
Right.
Yeah.
You know,
not that they did anything wrong.
Yeah. They knew exactly what they're doing. You know, that's such a low-key theater move. You know, where it's like, oh well, you know, it's the god of theater. It's Bacchus. You know, or we're just trying to practice, you know, humanity.
No. The god there, it's the god of overindulgence. It's the god of eating till basically it's the god of two sins in one. It's the god of what? Help me out here, you English speakers who know your seven
Sloth.
sins. Yeah, it's the god of sloth, and it's the god of what's overindulgence and stuffing yourself. What's that?
I think it's
Indulgence,
overindulgence, basically.
And gluttony.
Gluttony.
Yeah,
Gluttony,
basically,
sorry,
it's the god of gluttony and the god of sloth. That's the blue guy that was there. That's what the one.
That's wait. I thought that was Bacchus.
No, it's the Dionysus. If you mean like the one in the opening ceremony,
right?
Who was the gay blue guy?
Well, right. It's all hedonistic, right?
About? That's Dionysus, not Bacchus.
Okay, so it's all the way they tried to explain it. It's like, you know what, you're just say you're a freak and own it.
When they said Bacchus, I here pull this up. I thought they meant Jim Bacchus.
I do not think that they are sufficiently cultured.
He's still stuck on Gilligan's Island.
I'm still stuck on yes. Yeah. You don't even know who Jim Bacchus is, do you, Andre?
We should get a photo of
actually, vaguely I do.
Oh.
He's actually been in more than just Gilligan's Island, but yeah.
Yes, honey. Yes.
Yeah, I'm actually...
And he actually did the voice for Mr. Magoo.
Yeah, Mr. Magoo, that's right.
Yeah.
All right. Yeah, I know. Yeah,
Bacchus is Dionysus. One's Greek and one's Roman.
Okay, yeah. Well, it's the same thing, and basically, yes. So then we are referring to the same thing, and this then, for all intents and purposes, is the god of slothiness and of gluttony. And that's what they were celebrating there. It's the god of drinking till you're shit-faced in a stupor and you don't know what you're doing.
Welcome to Paris.
That's what Dionysus is the god of.
Yeah, I'm God.
So the reason why I brought it up, because they try to, you know, some people are trying to say, oh, you know, it's also, you know, one of the gods of theater and you know, old Greek thespians. Those guys were really perverted. You know, they did their theater, but they're wild people, and you know, it's basically you know, free for all orgies at time. And you know, I get letting your freak flag flow, but not at the Olympics, where kids were watching, and they were asking like, what happened? What was that? To me, it's like it's like accept this, or or you're wrong. To me, all that stuff always belonged in the theater, adult theater, then even burlesque theater. Chato, big fan of burlesque. Chato is.
I've seen it.
It's just wild that stuff is just was so it's just prevalent. Period. Now, and
yeah. Speaking of burlesque, they actually would have been better off having Dita Fontees do the opening ceremony. Because I have been to Dita Fonte burlesque, and that was quite PG-13 compared to this opening ceremony. Let's put it that way.
Okay, so the actress, the swimmer is Peruvian.
Luana Alonso.
And if I could share it, it's
okay. Go ahead. I was just going to share. Okay.
Oh, go ahead. You go ahead.
Okay, I will.
Luana Alonso.
Luana Alonso. Yes.
Paraguay swimmer. She's beautiful.
Here, I'm bringing it up.
Yeah.
I
know. I thought Paul was ready with
I used
that.
to have music.
I am. I'm ready now. I'm ready now. I had to.
I used to have elevator music for this stuff. Actually.
Here we go. Go.
There he goes. Oh my. Hola.
Yeah. So she's and she was doing. She's very much into social media. So she was plastering herself while she was at Disney
so she's
World.
the one that got disqualified or whatever, right?
No, she just didn't make it. She didn't make her heats. And she was very distraught, and she quit the sport.
That sucks.
She quit the sport, and then she went around Disney World doing Instagram videos and the usual shit that someone who is this really good looking does.
Good looking and young, yeah. And then she even has, I believe, I don't know if it's a permanent tattoo, but it's the Olympic rings right on her hip. Right. So you see her in her swim outfit, it's like boom.
I thought she was the one that was booted out because she was too much of a distraction because of her social media presence.
Well, yeah, that's her.
That's her.
So she was already finished in the Olympics, and then she was evicted from the country? Is that what we're saying?
The team wasn't happy with how she was not portraying herself, how she was, not conveying herself? What's the word?
So how she basically was promoting the country that you're supposed to do when you're in the
correct.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
It's completely ridiculous. I mean,
inappropriate conduct.
Thank you.
Maybe it's because the fact also too of just I don't know. I don't look this stuff up, but she's 20 years old. I don't know if that has any bearing. I think the French or
Okay, she's legally adult all over Europe.
Okay. I mean, again, my only point is that they bring that up is that they're going to discipline. Even she's promoting the Olympics. She's doing what she's doing. For 1 pound overweight. Wasn't that the Indian?
Well, Mark's 117B sent in $1.99 to bring up that a woman was disqualified for being a pound overweight. Yeah, I'm not sure which.
That's the woman from India, I believe she was the wrestler. And hi, Six.
Yeah, hey, Six.
For $10, Polly says hi, Polly from Six. Thank you.
There's the tattoo if you can find it.
I like it, her hip there.
Yeah, there it is.
Yeah, okay. I hope that's a henna tattoo.
I don't think so. Anyways, she's a very unattractive person.
But that's
get
wrong.
That off the screen, Jesus.
That's wrong, Tom. But bring up Bacchus and bring up the opening ceremony people, please, because
I don't want to.
Yeah,
that's appropriate. And there's a child there, and there's someone with their bolish hanging out.
Yep, on the left-hand side there was an individual, apparently not a female boxer, with their wagunjas hanging out,
with their la as
Six. There was some girl that they disqualified. That may have been the thing I was thinking of too. Where they say that if I'm interpreting this correctly from my memory, there's so much going on with this stuff.
Yeah, I'll look it
The
up.
judges said that she went off the mat, but her heel touched down on the mat, but it didn't.
Oh, that's gymnastics.
Yeah, that was the gymnastics deal.
That
yeah.
was, and it didn't. That's bullshit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And the video clearly showed that her foot never touched the ground. Yeah.
Yeah, that's just reffing people,
So basically, the referee is in need of some laser surgery, especially considering there's a bunch of cameras and the rest of the world saw exactly what happened.
Oh, my super.
Or
chat.
the refs wanting you, or the refs or umpires wanting to be the spotlight. So we're gonna go to sporting event and watch the refs and watch the umpires. Yeah. No, thank you.
We got your super chat, 6. We said hi to Paulie. We said thank you for the $10.
Hi, 6.
Yeah.
Thank you for the $10.
Yeah, I'm not sure what she means then.
So yeah, we did get
The
that.
foot on my super chat, Paulie knows. There was a foot on
The foot on my super chat, Polly knows. Oh, to look at the super chat?
I didn't know there was a foot. I guess I
Is
missed
it still
Hang on.
starred?
Let me go back. Hang on.
Oh, we'll bring it up again.
Right. I think you got rid of
I
it.
didn't see a foot, but I guess maybe.
Meanwhile, today.
Oh, she did put a foot on it. You can just barely see it because it's yellow.
Wow. Hi, Polly.
Oh, you can barely see it.
So
I can see it now on the other
event
side.
Is this the floor program?
It was
Oh
one
my
of
God,
the
move-
gymnastics programs. Yeah.
No, move on. Is it? Do you want to see my foot, 6? What's going on here?
She paid you
She says
$10.
You would know.
So is this the one with the Brazilian woman
Okay.
won the event?
No. So she no.
so.
It's a thing where back in the day, she paid me $50 to take my shirt off, and I obliged. So maybe $10 is a foot. Like she wants to see a foot.
I don't know. You'll have to see what she says in the chat.
I'm lost. I'm completely lost.
And then Rambam 3000 sends in £5. Says you really need to get the VTuber Kirsch on to talk about Bridge. She does very good work.
We may do that down the line. I am talking with someone else whose name you do know. We're just kind of like waiting for schedules to clear, because this is someone who's very, very busy being on Rogan and stuff like that. So yeah.
Then 6 cents and 20.
Whoa!
Wow.
With an orange
Whoa.
background to say, "Can you see it now?" Now she's got
Yes.
6 feet there.
Yes, now we see the feet.
Okay. We see the feet.
Is this her way of telling you to start an Only Feet fans?
I have nice feet. Listen, full disclosure,
Ooh.
she's never seen my feet, guys. Not in person and not
That
on
you know
not
of.
on
How do you
not on
know
a
she's
channel.
not a stalker?
But Romy says I have very nice feet and hands.
Nice.
Yeah.
Good
Well,
for
we'll
you.
have to settle for the hands then. Other than that, yeah, we don't do kink shaming here. So yeah, whatever gets.
Hell no, that's not my point. I'm just
Yeah,
like,
hey.
I don't want to see it. I don't want to see it.
That's $30, Tom. That's $30.
That is 30
Yeah, so we
bucks.
do appreciate the support, and
So we have
yeah.
to send you your percentage of it, which after YouTube's take is about $3.
Right. Well, Midnight's Edge Espanol. There you go. And
Yes, do check out Midnight's Edge
Yes.
Espanol and the Latino slant. I almost said the Latino chat, like the Latino Chato, like you guys are
the
merging. or
Latino
something.
Chato.
Yeah.
Well, we
Well,
should
do
do
head-
something together soon, hopefully.
Yeah, check
Yes.
out the chat of Latinos Lands live
And then,
streams as well.
Jason Webster sends in an Australian $5 dues, and I'm going to do this as Fonghorn. He says, Warner Brothers Discovery has become a real-life version of Looney Tunes. Join Foghorn, Zaslav, and the Zany Gang in the hilarious misadventures. I say the hilarious misadventures.
That's not bad.
You know what's funny is-
I said that's not bad.
I said I was the villain in that Acme movie, by the way. Spoilers. Which made no sense to me. It's like, since when is Foghorn Leghorn a villain?
Right.
Stone Gassman
Quit
sends in
talking,
10.
boy. You can't let me get in a voice in edgewise.
That's right. That boy's about as dim as a dill bulb. Stone Gassman sends in $10, says, I'm a huge Michael Keaton fan. I think we all are. From Night Shift to The Founder, want Beetlejuice 2 to be good, but not sure it's going to make a whole lot of money, enough to relieve Zaslav's shareholder issues. Actually, I think it's shaping up to do very well. The early buzz is that it's going to have like a good, close to $100 million opening weekend or something like that, maybe. Might be one of the bigger movies of the year. So we'll have to see. I think there's a lot of pent up
Demand.
I'm not gonna. demand. I'm not going to say it's going to do as well as Top Gun 2, but I think it will have a similar kind of effect.
Which one?
Beetlejuice 2.
Well, I'll say with the few frames they showed of Beetlejuice in the sequel, Michael Keaton has not lost a step in terms of the energy he was putting into it.
Yeah, that
Yeah.
second
Bad for an
trailer
old
looks so
man.
much better. Yeah, than the first ones.
Yeah, my Stone, I would say it's going to do very well. The Jenna Ortega PR machine has really kicked into high gear this past week, and that's one thing that this has going for it. You have a new likable star, an old school star, an old school director, also promising no CGI, back to basics. And a lot of normies love Beetlejuice. So,
And also, yeah, you mentioned Jenna Ortega. She has a huge fan base of kids who fell in love with Wednesday. I mean, my daughter among them.
didn't even
I mean,
mention
she wants
Wednesday.
to see that movie for Wednesday because she associates Jenna Ortega with Wednesday. She knows it's not literally Wednesday, but it's kind of like Wednesday, and she wants to see it for that reason.
Too bad Jenna's being busted for saying, "Oh, these political stuff shouldn't be a problem now." But didn't she have one of her co-stars like canceled over their Trump
Yeah,
statements or some
that
shit?
controversy. If we wanted to, let me know if you wanted to chat about it. I'm a little familiar
Maybe,
with
but we got this from 6 first. I want to get to, and then we got to finish the other stuff.
I like soda cans.
You like soda cans.
How big is your toe, Six? Whoa, I like soda cans.
So evidently, she wants to see how big your toe is. That's what she wants to see.
Oh, I
'Cause
mean,
you brought it up.
I don't know if that's appropriate on the morning show, Andre.
You're trying to weasel out of this. No, anyway. Yeah, I think this is going to do well, but we'll have to see. We got Pilgrim Media who sends in $2. Did you want to get into the Jenna Ortega thing or not?
Whatever you guys
That's up to
want.
Andre.
Yeah,
Because we got other stories we haven't got to yet.
Let's do the other stories first, and then we can maybe outro on that and have.
Or we can come back to it when we get closer to Beetlejuice.
Or a later stream that begins in 45 minutes here, so that might be like a nice segue to that. But let's
Could be
do these remaining super chats first.
Pilgrim
Media wonders for $2. When does the Metal Hour start? Starting Andre. Well, it's not going to be an hour, more like 10-15 minutes, and I'm thinking next Friday.
Awesome.
Starting to plan it out already.
And then we got Packing Protons. It says Warner Brothers had the CW and they sold off cheap. Why would they want to get back into it with CBS? Is it the three big two? Is the big three?
It's
going
the big
to work
three going to work where Warner
Okay.
Brothers didn't.
I see where you're coming from. Yeah, they just dumped CW. They're going to dump some other cable channels and stuff too before this is said and done. I bet. But CBS is a network. Warner Brothers has never been part of a network before. And that was the rumor I kept hearing before, was that Zaslav wanted a network. And what CBS has also is the NFL deal with it. And with the crap they're dealing with the NBA deal, that would help wipe out all that stuff right now until that's all sorted out. That's the big reason here. And not only that, if they were to merge CBS with Warner Brothers, as long as a lot of those properties that are the television cable properties go with CBS, that will also clear up some of their issues with like South Park and the Comedy Central issues as well, and some other stuff. But that's a long, convoluted discussion on that part. But yeah, I can see where it would be like, why would he even want to do that? That's why, mainly because of to have a network, and the network comes with a sweet fat NFL deal.
Yeah.
And nobody has anything else to say on it, so we're going to keep moving along. Captain Phantom Nerd sends in a member chat for 37 months. Thank you for that, Captain Phantom Nerd. I always muck this one up. Mukhtar Ali sends in £5 and says, Curtis is making a Freaky Friday 2. Do you think it's too late? And can Lindsay Lohan act? She hasn't had a hit since Parent Trap. Lindsay hasn't? I thought she did that Herbie movie after that and did okay.
Well, she did Freaky Friday.
Yeah, before that.
Oh, but it was after the Parent Trap.
Well, yeah, either or. But I'm saying I think Herbie Loaded was probably her last hit, was what I was thinking.
So. Yeah.
Or Herbie Fully Loaded.
With Justin Long.
The weird thing about this Freaky Friday thing is I think it's actually coming to theaters, and I think they're idiots. I think the Freaky Friday sequel should be going straight to Disney Plus, while the Hocus Pocus sequel should have been in theaters. And I don't even like Hocus Pocus. But I know how big those franchises are, and I think everybody collectively said, what the hell are you doing, when Disney decided to drop Hocus Pocus 2 on Disney Plus instead of putting it in theaters. But anyway, Paul has to go.
I was distraught as a Hocus Pocus aficionado.
Are you?
Yeah, I lined up on opening night of the theater.
The first movie?
All of them. And
well,
I
the second one, and that's what happened, is you just found out it wasn't coming to theaters, and you're still waiting outside that theater.
And I dressed up too as
Bette Midler.
Yeah, Bette Midler. That's right.
What's going on here?
I don't know. I think Paul's a drag queen, and he's confessing.
I always enjoyed dressing up in drag on my on the TV show.
See, this proves my point.
What?
that you know, creative people are by nature freaks, and you know, and God bless them. We need that. However, you know, in theaters, adult settings, and you know, I don't want to see Paul Chato. Yeah, I don't want to see Paul Chato in drag at the Olympics. Call me an is, I don't care. I love Paul, but I don't want, you know, I don't want it.
You have no idea what you're missing here. I'm showing you now what you're missing.
And then, you know what? This kind of also proves my point. Go ahead, bring it up.
That's you, isn't it?
Yeah, that's me.
The funny thing is, I could totally see that in the Olympic opening ceremony.
I was a evil character that fought Mr. Canoehead.
You're just auditioning for the Queen of Hearts at Disneyland.
I was. This is Lady Dynamite. She just blew up things. So that was
my.
Legal Mindset is in the chat.
Oh,
Legal Mindset raid. Orale.
Oh, awesome.
Yeah, I actually sent him the link earlier. I didn't know if he could pop in or not, but says he's busy. But thank you so much, Andrew, for the raid. Appreciate it, man.
Tom and Andre, my theory is not so good looking men. Love you, Chato. Make great looking drag queens.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah, but yeah, no, I was hoping Andrew could come in and help us on the Warner Brothers subject.
Only if he's dressed as a drag queen. So I do have to go.
But Chato has to leave us.
I have to leave. Have a good weekend, everybody. And Paulie, we need to do that. Our little Brazilian movie.
Not a little Brazilian midget.
City of God. Later.
We're gonna watch City of God with our members of Latino Slam.
That'd be great.
Nice. That's a cool movie.
One of the greatest films last 25 years.
Yeah.
Right. And it doesn't involve Latinos and drugs.
Or Latinos and drugs?
Well, it's Portuguese. I mean, it's Brazilian, right?
It's Brazil.
I say, are you gonna leave, son? Or
yeah, I'm gonna go. I'm gonna stop. I'm going Foghorn Leghorn. Everyone, bye. Thank you very much.
Take
Have
care,
a wonderful
Paul.
weekend.
Have a great weekend.
Wonderful fans out there of Midnight.
Thanks again for bopping by last night. That was fun.
Hey, no problem. It was fun. Bye.
Take care. We got Satan's Retribution sending in 35 South African rens and says, blah, 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 blah. The key to adapting a video game is make book novelizations and adapt the novels to screen as that step serves a foundation to adapt properly. You know, yeah, there's a lot of different ways you can approach it and this is one of them.
Not bad advice at all.
It all depends too on if you have like a main character like a Sonic or a Mario, or if it's something that's set in a world where you can actually expand upon it. I think a lot of these video game movies would do better to try and tell a different story in that world if the characters aren't like the main point of the story, right? Like, you know how Grand Theft Auto changes characters every game. So like you could just set a movie in the world of Grand Theft Auto. It doesn't necessarily have to be the characters from the game. But now like something like Sonic or Mario, clearly they are the game. They are the subject. So yeah, that you have to work from that. But again, I don't know what you guys think about that, but I think that'd be a smarter deal in some of these cases than just trying to adapt a game to screen. I mean, I don't know. That's just my thoughts on it. But I am not a gamer, so I'm just a film
there
fan.
are ways to do it, but I do like the that idea. And Alejandro Diaz says for 5,000. I actually have to look up that currency. Paulie, do you happen to know what CRC
I'm trying
is?
to remember.
Chilean?
It's Chilean pesos, I believe.
Chilean. That's all I can think of. If it's from
probably.
South America,
Probably.
and it's 5,000.
No, it's Costa Rican colon. That's what
There
it
you
is.
go.
Oh wow, we're way
There you
off.
go.
Sorry about that.
Yeah, no,
Yeah.
I would. That's what I thought. Like, that did not ring true. Like, I know we've had it before. I just didn't remember.
It's been a while.
Costa
And-
Rican. So
Yeah.
gracias, Alejandro. And he says, when you're an Olympian, you're concentrated in the village until you compete. She was there on a free ride partying. Her teammates were pissed. My sister is a competitive swimmer, so I know. Oh, okay. Yeah, well,
That's another way of
a
looking
fair
at it.
point. That is
Good
a fair
context.
point. Yeah, context. Everything is context. And if you violate the rules of the fellowship of your team, of course, that's a different matter
Well,
entirely.
And then, Alejandro, thank you so much. And didn't mean to upset you by saying you're Chilean. I know people get real.
Well, that is important.
Well,
Tennille,
yeah.
But I was gonna.
I think
say
we
an
just
Olymp-
confused his currency. Hopefully, you're less offended by that. But yeah.
But in regards to partying in the Olympics, wasn't the runner Noah? I forgot his name. He won the 200. And he was or the 100. He's going for his 200, but he claimed COVID. Right? He had the mask on. He lost. Word has it he was partying in between after he got his first gold. So there you go.
Well, rules are meant to be broken, aren't they?
Yeah.
Maybe they're more guidelines.
Yeah. Then we got Tennille here who says, I'm curious about the Jenna Ortega thing. So
yeah,
do you want to break into that?
I've been reading a little bit about it, considering doing a video on it. But Polly, since you are here, please take us through it. What's going on with Jenny Ortega?
Well, she is hitting the PR trail, and she got the Vanity Fair cover, which was a lengthy interview with her, where everyone from Deadline to Bounding into Comics has taken certain parts of what she has said in this huge article, and pulling out certain things which I find fascinating. I mean, you really get insight to her last 2 years as far as what she's been, just how maneuvering with fame, with her projects, and there's a lot of takes there that you could say, oh, she's pretty based. She's got a good head on her shoulders. She's definitely not into the PC culture. And this is why she defends Melissa Barrera, her co-star from Scream, when she got fired. And she's kind of vying for that kind of atmosphere where, very much like Gina first did, of where, we could have, civil discussions, and even, people, disagreeing and still be cool with each other. And there's no cancel culture. So, I broke down one aspect of it for the slant. We're going to talk about it again coming up with Verbal Riot on our live show in about a half hour. More on the PC Hollywood end of it. But so there's that, right? And obviously she's talking about Beetlejuice, working with Tim Burton, Winona Ryder, then maybe some of the controversy too with her and the Writers Guild from last year, which she walked back. She's like, yeah, you know what? I could have, said my words differently. I tend to be a bit of a rambler. And, again, because it's an extensive article, you get into her psyche a little bit that she shares that, like, I'm kind of terrified of kind of just speaking too much. I like to be an actor. I like that you don't know who I am. You don't know my personal life. You don't know who I'm dating. And I totally respect that. Now, there's other controversy in that Bounding into Comics dug up Andre and Tom. don't know if you wanted me to go into that.
Yeah, no, let's do it. This would be the one. This is the one I'm considering doing your people video about Mexican people being considered a risk in Hollywood. That one really stood out to me. So I'm assuming this is the one you are referring to, right?
No,
No.
that's in the Vanity Fair in regards to the context of Mexican people. What she said is in regards to what we talk about too, is that the underrepresentation, you know. And she's like, I can't believe nowadays that still, you know, Mexican stories, Mexican people are considered a risk. And she connects that to the, you know, kind of the political era, the political realm that we're in right now. She doesn't get too political. She just doesn't like that. She, you know, her being an American who's of Mexican and Puerto Rican descent doesn't think that that's, you know, that's fair. So she doesn't go after any politician in particular. So that's one thing. I mean, again, I'm telling you, this Vanity Fair, if you're into any of this, if you're not, then I get it. Really digs deep into a lot of areas of what she just the last 2 years of her life. Bounding into comics, what they pointed out and Tom pointed out, and I don't know if Tom, if you knew about this a couple of years ago, in regards to the she canceled, or she definitely called out her co-star on, I forgot the name of the show, like On the Same Block or something.
Yeah,
Okay.
somebody had brought it up to me and I didn't know about this until like the other day. This is the first time I'd heard about it, so I'm not even totally up to speed on it yet.
Right. So the controversy is like, okay, you're claiming you're not into cancel culture, but you did that to a co-star 6 years ago, where the star of this show, who's I believe a Latina herself, if we can grab up that bounding, she made a pro-Trump statement, I guess, in Twitter. And then she's made some disparaging remarks in regards to all Mexicans being landscapers, 2 cast members at the time, including Jenna Ortega. So Jenna took to Twitter and called that out. It's very strange, right? What has happened with Jenna's career, obviously, since then, and then with this other woman's career, this woman has not worked at all since then. And that's the Bounding into Comics point, written by Jacob, I believe.
No, their site's all screwed up because I got.
Yeah, I'm looking for it. The closest thing I find is the Mexican people are considered a risk story due to the current climate. That I find that one.
Well, that's what I had mentioned earlier, because she so here she alludes to the anti-immigrant climate that she kind of grew up in Coachella Valley with her Mexican family. It's like, again, that's kind of nothing new when you kind of growing up Mexican American. That climate is always there. It comes and goes with just with political seasons, the economy, etc. And here she's just saying that she can't believe that that Mexican people are still considered a risk. In her words, she doesn't even like the word alien. Forget the illegal part, alien. She's all into the humanity, etc. So I guess Bounding kind of really pinpointed on that. What I was talking about was the cancel culture and how this co-star of this TV show was canceled. And
Yeah,
I
I'm
read
looking for
Jenna's Twitter post, and this is 6 years ago. Yeah, they're pretty clear. Jenna went after her. You know, so you can't. It's like, all right, what happened? Did you learn from that because you were 15? You know, she's only 21. So 6 years ago, you're 15 and you went after a co-star. Right? It's like, wow, okay. And Ziegler had the same problem. I tend to think Ortega is a little more nuanced and professional, but even I did not know about this. That happened 6 years ago.
Okay. I think I found it now. Well, Ronnie Hawk ousted as her Trump supporter
That's it.
and
Ronnie
then
Hawk.
claimed she was racist.
Right.
And then
Right. So Ronnie Hawk,
Melissa Barrera got fired for supporting Palestine, and that's what she's upset about now. So of course, when it happens to one of her friends.
right. So in the Vanity Fair, she talks about how she would like a non-cult, a non-PC, non-cancel culture environment in Hollywood, and which makes sense. It's good for her. She's a big star. She's got a big net, huge fan base, and she's always defended Melissa. But Bounding brought up this from the past.
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't. That's a good question, Daryl.
Yeah, Daryl Brewer, for those who are just listening, Daryl Brewer asked how much of that was because she was influenced by the people around her at the time, to which I would say quite a great deal. I do not know how much influence her parents have, but her representation, they would have major influence. And as you mentioned, she's 21 now. She's been doing this for years. Like when she was 16 and stuff like that, she wouldn't be very business savvy in the ways of Hollywood. She would do what someone told her to do. So yeah, there's obviously much more to it other than what she has done. It goes deeper than that. This is the thing to always keep in mind. Whenever you see an actor, and this is true for older and more experienced actors as well, someone is pulling their strings and doing, making them do something. So, and this is 10 times as true for really young talent.
And I think you brought this up too, though, but she kind of waffled a bit on her co-star from Scream as well. See, right? Wasn't that kind of the case? Because like she was like, well, I don't think she should be fired or whatever. But then she said, I think she said something along the lines of like, the consequences of what you say or something to that effect. But I can't remember exactly how she put it now. You would have covered it closer than I did.
She's always been pro-Palestine herself. She's just been very under.
Yeah, but wasn't her co-star against the Hamas thing? Like she was all like, I thought that was the case. And that's why she got shit canned from the new.
Yeah, we don't know the details about that.
This was about a year ago. No, it was out there. It was pretty.
Wait, I know it was. We're talking about Melissa Barrera and Jenna Ortega, the two stars of Scream, correct?
Yeah, or she was supporting Palestine. Was she, or the other way around? I can't remember now.
They both support a ceasefire stance.
Which got her fired from Scream?
Melissa got fired from Spyglass because Spyglass called her anti-Semitic, saying that she would. And Melissa said, "No, I'm not saying anything against Jewish people. I am just for the end of the ceasefire." But
okay,
right. So that was last November. 2 days later, Jen Ortega puts out a release. I'm not doing Scream. Like we just couldn't work it out.
Okay.
It was production schedules. But the timing of it was also like, I'm also going to back up my girl, Melissa. Then a week later, the director leaves saying it was a nightmare, the situation.
Right.
So, but during this whole time, Ortega has been pro-Palestine on her gram, just very nuanced about it. Like, not going to rallies, not, the whole thing like Melissa was doing. And so in Vanity Fair, they ask her about Melissa, and she's like, it's my girl. I just want an environment in Hollywood that's not PC, that, where you can have different opinions. So if you're asking me like, well, what about this thing from 6 years ago? I see a young person finding herself from celebrity, having to balance this whole thing with fame and her personal life. That's it. She's not a Ziegler in regards to just being unlikable when she talks. That's very obvious. Ziegler's got other problems. So there's a lot of some of our YouTuber friends that are coming out with videos calling Ortega based. Like, she's bringing up, and I'm like, well, I think it's common sense. But you could read the whole article and say, oh, I don't agree with that. But she does look like she is kind of promoting a more fair environment, which brings me back to Gina Carano, in that's what Gina always was about. And the stuff that Gina ever posted or tweeted about was far less scathing than the garbage that people are doing nowadays. But it's a really good article in regards to the Vanity Fair Jenna Ortega settling into fame edition, whatever it's called.
Yeah, we'll have to check that out. Thanks for the
Interesting.
tip.
Yeah.
All right. Well, moving on here, we got Jesus Davila, who gifted a membership. Thank you for that. And now Shergill wants me to say, in a world where worlds don't exist, stuff happens. And what are you gonna do about it? Coming soon. There you go. I hope that's enough for whatever you need. Chris K says, Andre, looking forward to your thoughts on Heavy Trip and its upcoming sequel.
Yes, thank you, Chris, for alerting me to that movie's existence. The sequel, I have to wait until that's available commercially on DVD or something. But I already have obtained the first Heavy Trip movie, and as I suspected, I was like, how can a movie about like black metal, a Norwegian black metal movie, have escaped my attention? And the reason was, as I later confirmed, it's not a Norwegian movie, it's Finnish. It's about a group of Finnish metalers that travel to Norway. So it partially takes place in Norway, and there are some Norwegian talent in it, but it's a Finnish movie, and I can't wait to see it. It also has Rune Temte, very famous Norwegian actor. You know his face. He's in that movie. He was in Eddie the Eagle, and he was also in Captain Marvel as one of like the Kree soldiers behind the blue paint and everything. Looks like a proper Viking. I was like, if I was in Norway right now, I would stop him next time I see him on the bus and ask for an interview, because for real, I used to see him on the bus all the time. So yeah.
Well, speaking of Norway, Packing Proton wants to know if this is accurate.
Oh, Oslo, Norway. Isn't it beautiful?
It's okay. Maybe
That's a horrible voice for Raph, though. Holy shit.
Go back a little bit. Go back to
Yeah.
the beginning.
Does that look about like Oslo?
A little bit. A little
bit.
A little bit. The view from Ekeberg overlooking Oslo, a little bit actually.
Let's see. What else? There might be some more. That's why, I don't know. Otherwise, why he'd send such a long.
Yeah.
No, it's just a clip.
I mean, it's not like a perfect resemblance. They haven't used any picture references or anything like that. But it's a fair resemblance certainly from the 80s and from the view of Ekeberg overlooking Oslo. Not an unfair view. It would look even more like Bergen, but not a completely unfair resemblance.
Indeed. And yeah.
I like turtles.
Twilight Hope sends in, I think this is Bulgarian Lev, for 5. It says, how far back should Twilight Hope says this? How far back should we look back at someone's past posts, and should she be judged for posts made when she was underage? I think there should be a limit. Well, I mean, first of all, I guess I would judge a person more on, have they learned anything, right? And where are they now? Like, I mean, I guess a point could be made that Jenna might be actually learning the consequences of cancel culture now. I guess that's one thing that can be pointed out. What did you say, Paulie, I guess?
Absolutely. And I think there's a lot. I think you're just seeing someone grow up before our eyes. So, you could compare her to Ziegler. They're basically the same age. One's very mature and is, dealing with fame in a decent way and, having some good takes. The other one is not.
Yeah.
I agree with that completely. But sorry, Tom, you were saying.
I was just going to say, I don't think it really matters at the end of the day. Most people aren't going to pay attention to that kind of stuff. But yeah.
No, most people aren't. But if there is someone who is out to cancel you for whatever reason, they are the ones who are going to go looking through your older posts. And I think that there should be a limit to that, because this is kind of like a problem which is facing like the people growing up today and for the past 10 years. There's a social media track record of their entire life if they have allowed it to be, right? And when you're a kid and you don't know too much about the world, but you can easily get excited, you can get pissed off at something, especially with people that try to get you pissed off and riled up because they want to recruit you for a certain cause or something, which is something like I see that in Norway, for instance. There's a very aggressive campaign by the Labour Party there to recruit them while they're young. And the Labour Party is actually the commie party, trying to piss people off, piss the kids off with the injustice, make them angry so you can recruit them. So basically, many have been misled, told certain elements of any given subject matter, but not the full complexity of it all. I don't think it's right to judge anyone on what they're saying as a teenager, because they'll have a more, or at least hopefully, they will have a more complete understanding as an adult. I don't think you should really judge anyone too harshly until they're like mid-20s. Fine, at that point, you don't have an excuse anymore. But until then, I mean, your brain isn't even finished developed until you're like mid-25. Remember, that was even a plot point in Star Trek Picard season 3, how all of the young people were taken over by a mind virus because their brains weren't fully developed. So it was up to the people above the age of 25 to bail the Federation out. Spoiler, I'm not going to go into any more than that. But they weren't subject to this mind virus because their minds had matured. So no, you should absolutely not judge her or anyone else on something that they say when they're teenagers. Of course, if they keep on to certain opinions and double down on them into their 20s and 30s, that's when you judge them even harsher, but then for what they've been saying more recently, not necessarily for what they've been saying when they were teenagers. Yeah.
Yeah.
Uh,
Yeah,
I think you nailed that pretty well. And I know we had the D23 thing to talk about yet, and I don't know if we're going to still talk about the Olympic stuff. I know we talked a little bit about it already. So
yeah, no, I think we have covered the Olympics fairly well. So we can, D23 is taking place today. Today is when the presentations are going to be. We don't know exactly what will be covered there, but we do have some rumors. We know that Charlie Cox is going to be there. So probably it's going to be Daredevil heavy.
all right.
It's going to be Agatha all along heavy. And beyond that, who knows exactly what we're going to get. But Friday, today, is the big Marvel and Star Wars panel. And the season 2 of The Acolyte we've been threatening with, I mean, maybe we'll get an announcement of that today. What say you, Tom?
I don't think we're getting to season 2 of Acolyte.
I hope not. I think that, but what they will do is that I think that they're going to just announce all of the stuff or double down.
You know what I think we'll hear about?
What?
I think Sean Levy's going to get a big boost because he's doing the Star Wars film. And it's supposed to be set outside any of the time periods we've been in thus far, as I remember from Article 6 sent me.
That should be massive, yeah.
And since with the big coming off of the big hit of Deadpool and Wolverine, I would expect them to use him to boost their image big time. Does that make sense?
Yeah, it makes perfect sense. We're going to create lots of press right now, and then 6 months from now, when that thing falls apart, it'll never be spoken of again.
Well, it might actually happen because he's coming off a hit. Remember, like the other ones, it's usually like, unless he's got another movie coming out between now and then that ends up flopping, we'll see.
Yeah, but he's still going to have to work with Kathleen Kennedy and what's
No,
his
I
face
hear you.
again? Cowboy Hat.
But then again, I mean, if he wants to do a Spider-Man team up with Deadpool, if that's true, I've been hearing rumors about that as well. I don't know if he actually said anything publicly, but as Knob Shergill brings up here in the chat, but I would not be surprised. He's in a
And if
position
he's
right
clever,
now. Yeah.
If he's
go ahead.
clever, he'll go with that rather than anything Star Wars.
Yeah.
I mean, I think the big shocker would be if they're actually going to go forward with a Rey movie.
Yeah. Well, and it's weird because now we just found out recently that Daisy Ridley has she's suffering from I can't remember the name of the Graves. Thank you.
Yeah.
So I wonder if she's going to be doing like a bunch of stuff right now just to kind of get it out of the way and then kind of sit on a nugget of money for a while she's dealing with all her health issues, if any arise. Because yeah, I have a strong feeling the Rey movie will happen. And I mean, they've threatened us with a trilogy, I think, actually. Because it's supposed to be episode, 10, 11, and 12. So I do think it's going to happen because that's Kathleen Kennedy's legacy right there. That's Bob Iger's legacy. They're not going to not let it happen. But I'd still think the Mando movie comes first. But I don't know. What do you guys think? Do you think we ever will see a Rey movie? They may talk about it at this thing, but I think we'll see more on the Mando movie, and Sean Levy will probably be talked up, and that'll be the two big things in the Skeleton Crew, and Ahsoka season 2, I think, will be the main things they talk about. That's my opinion.
Yeah, it'd be very interesting to see if Chinoid shows up, or if she's around, even if let's say that they don't do an official Rey movie panel and sit down, if she's maybe working the red carpet, being an embarrassment, maybe trying to push the project. Red carpets are kind of like the Wild West there, and that celebrities, can show up and get me on the red carpet. Let me speak. Let me talk. Boom.
I honestly hope that happens because we haven't had a video for a few days because I've been otherwise occupied. But I have time to do some videos this week. That would be a very easy one. Get some good views too. I don't think we're that lucky though. But who knows? We'll know in a few hours here. But I think there's a fairly decent chance the powers that be will still want to double down on the Rey movie. Although probably the one they're going to give more attention to is Grogu and Mando. Probably that's the priority for attention. Who knows how far along the Rey movie?
That's what I'm thinking too. We might get some art. Maybe have Jon Favreau come out and talk a little bit.
Yeah. As for Marvel, I hope that we get a slate with more movies announced. I don't think so, but I would hope to get more movies. What I fear the most is that they're just going to be presentations of the projects that really should have been canceled and never see the light of day.
I think we'll get a Fantastic Four trailer that everybody will get to see.
Yeah, maybe.
Oh.
But really, I would like a slate of what comes beyond the Fantastic
We already
Four.
know. And I don't think they're going to tell us any more than that, Andre. I think the reconfiguring is going on right now, so I don't think they're going to talk about anything post Avengers, whatever, 7 or 8 or whatever the hell they're on.
Secret War.
Yeah. I think that's all they're going to talk about. Anything in between, it's going to be, like you said, Agatha, Daredevil. They're probably going to play up Daredevil. They're going to talk a lot about how the success of Wolverine and Deadpool is going to lead them into this next phase.
I hope they say that.
I'm sure they will because, we have the anchor being thing now they're going to tag on to. And I have yet to come up with any evidence that prior to Deadpool and Wolverine, was there any talks of any anchor beings or anybody even really knowing that point before the movie came out. So that's where I'm seeing this kind of new basically like we've been saying, and like Chris Gore had reported and stuff like that. We got to get this over this hump of Agatha and Cap 4 and
this is what I think is so frustrating because if they were clever, they should just cancel those projects, scrap them, because they can only harm their brand. They're not going to get a single subscriber growth net on releasing any of them. Possible exception is obviously Daredevil Born Again. But Agatha, how's that going to benefit the Marvel brand or bring views to Disney Plus? It won't. Same thing with Ironheart, and I think later down the line, the Wonder Man. None of those are going to do any wonders. So I get that
I
they're
keep forgetting
doing
about
that
Wonder
strategy,
Man.
but it's the wrong strategy. They should just scrap them, never release them.
Yeah.
Instead, they're doubling down, wasting the talents of Teddy Matalis on the Vision series, which I do believe we'll learn more about.
Well, I think that's kind of his segue into this, I wonder.
I hope so. I seriously hope so. But still, I think that's a bad idea, because you're wasting and you're tarnishing him on a project that I see very little fan enthusiasm for.
I guess here, I was talking to somebody, and the hints that I was getting from him is because his name kept coming up, and it kind of almost feels like this is kind of like the training wheels job they're giving him. Because let's remember, Terry is just kind of coming off of a semi-success with Picard. It wasn't like this humongous success. It was a semi-success. He managed to bring back a lot of the people that they lost, but that didn't gain any real ground with it, right? And they still didn't even manage to bring back everybody. It was just a large portion of. I think this is like his testing ground movie or show. And if this works out, then he'll get a movie off of this or something, probably. Because how many movies has Terry even directed before?
None that I know of, but
that's what I'm saying.
Get a better series than Vision, but
perhaps. But I don't know if they have anything else. And Vision might play play a bigger part coming forward here, right? Because I think it was a mistake to kill him off in the first place before he even had a chance to play any real role in the Marvel universe.
Yeah.
I mean, that was the problem with Infinity War leading into Endgame, was their haste in trying to destroy some of these characters and get rid of them and cast them aside, when it's like, hold up, time out. Some of these characters haven't even had a chance to even develop. Like, we were just kind of getting to start to learn who Vision is and stuff. So, like, yeah.
And now we have to learn it all over again because it's a new Vision.
Yeah. Well, and that's the other thing, is you have the different versions of Vision. So, yeah.
I'll be very curious really quick. I'm going to bounce, but also, too, if there's going to be any mention or footage at all of Snow White. You know, Disney's Snow White.
I think there's some stuff going around that I think we're going to get some sort of teaser trailer for it at some point here. I don't know if it's going to be now or between now and November. Because when does the movie actually come out again?
Next March.
Yeah, so we've still got a few months yet. So, I mean, it's kind of in that area that we're getting close to where they'll probably start dropping something on it soon.
I'd be surprised if they didn't say anything about it. I mean, surely this is D23. This is their big event between now and Comic-Con next year, or certainly CinemaCon. So I'd be surprised if they didn't drop something.
If Six is saying here, then this because I was hearing, here's what made me think this is I started seeing some pictures pop up that I wasn't 100% sure if they were real or not, but I think they were of her in an alternate outfit than her regular Snow White outfit. And it was a close-up picture of her, and I wasn't 100% sure if it was from Snow White or something else, but somebody said it was some Snow White. And I'm like, if that's from Snow White and that kind of a picture, that tells me we're probably going to get a trailer soon. So I was just surmising that. With D23 coming up, that makes sense.
Yeah, that's going to be a big one.
So, yeah, if you heard that 6, then I'm not surprised at all.
I'm going to bounce real quick.
Yeah,
thanks for being here, Paulie.
Absolutely. And you have a stream coming up that we will be redirecting to. Tell us about that.
Yeah, it's going to be with Dante, Verbal Riot, we're going to go for about an hour, pop and politics. And we're going to be doing this every Friday for about 60 minutes. We're going to have Kamala Harris, not her, but her ad for Latino voters is out. We're going to break that one down. Also, too, more Jenna Ortega. I got other fun stuff to go over with you guys. Come on, join us, man.
Sounds good.
Yeah, that should be interesting. I'm looking forward to seeing that. I haven't seen that ad.
Oh my
God.
God.
If it's trying to target the Latinos, I can only imagine the condescension that's going to be in that one.
Yeah, with Spanish accents and guitars.
I can only imagine.
But yeah, come on by afterwards. Thank you, Andre. Thank you, Tom. Thank you, chat.
Yeah.
Yeah, thanks for being here.
Okay, adios.
All right, take care.
Take care, brother. And we got one more super chat since we were talking about the Disney stuff. Tommy Reviews sends in 5 and says, I didn't know this, but Levy is involved with a Netflix revival of Unsolved Mysteries. The new season of that just dropped too. Oh, I didn't even know they were doing that. Interesting. Well, he seems to have his fingers in a lot of pies.
Yeah, he's come a far way since the Pink Panther days.
Yeah. Yeah. Because he also directed that the Free Guy movie, right?
Yes, I believe so.
And what else has he done besides? I know he's done a couple of things now.
He's done some Night at the Museums.
Okay, yeah, that's where I know his name from then. Okay.
Yeah. And
Which actually the third one wasn't too bad
things.
on that one. What was that? Sorry.
And I think he's done some Stranger Things too.
Oh, yes, that's right. Okay, that's the other place I remember now. Okay, yep. Thank you. Yeah, we don't have any rants on the Rumble side of things, so I think we're caught up there, and we're caught up here. So, Andre, was there anything you wanted to plug or?
No, just head on over to first and foremost to Paulie. Anyone who is still remaining from Legal Mindset. Hope you had fun while here, and say hi to Andrew for us. Go and check out Chato's channels as well as Cultured Casinos. Check out Script Doctor's Patreon. Anything else you want to plug, Tom?
I might do some Mead Radio later. Otherwise, the shows tomorrow. I think I have, if I'm on there, the noon show on Salty Nerd Podcast. But I heard some news. I don't know any details yet.
Yeah, go support the Salty Nerd Podcast because they just had another break-in.
Yeah, I just heard the news. I didn't get to check into it, but yeah, so I don't know what's all going on with that. But yeah, I might be there tomorrow.
No, someone because they have really tight security right now.
Yeah.
So someone broke into the office next door and drilled through the wall to get into them.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's pretty bad.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, you know, of course they know if they're listening, any of those guys, if they need anything, just hit me up. Of course, I'll probably reach out to
Yeah, I've been meaning to do that. I'll do that as well.
But, so send them some support. They usually stream tomorrow at noon, so we'll see if that goes off. Otherwise, I will be on with Mephisto over at Mephisto's movie reviews on the Real McCoy podcast, talking about Super Mario Brothers 1993 tomorrow at 2 p.m. Central. So don't forget that as well. Andre may pop in there if he can make it.
I may, if I'm able to stack my schedule accordingly.
All right. So with that,
it is time to thank everyone who were here. We really appreciate that. And Kelechi Oki says for $2, Andre, please make it to Mephisto stream. I can. Or maybe he means to say if you can. Yeah, if I can, I shall make it. I just have to sort out some other stuff in the end here, which may preclude me from making it. I don't know yet. But if I can, if there's any way, I will be there. Because I'll be talking Super Mario. That's cool. And it's always fun to hang out with
it's
Mephisto.
Almost unreal.
If there's a way, I'll be there.
Indeed. So, all right. Can't wait for that tomorrow. And with that,
it is time for some koalas in the rain.
Koalas in the rain, koalas in the rain, no fucks given. Koalas in the rain, koalas in the rain, no fucks given. Koalas in the rain.